to unmute us here. There you go. All right, and just for the fun of it,
Kids said.
it should be fine here. I just wanted to make sure I wanted to record everything.
I think we're live.
Okay.
Are we live for you, Karen?
We are live.
Okay, great.
You wanna record this?
All right, everybody, good evening.
Recording in progress.
Now we're live.
We were, I just.
Okay, in recording. Okay. Good evening, everyone. This is the Monday, April 27th meeting of the Select Board. I am the chair, Erin Underhill. With me, I have Craig Schultz, the vice chair, and Ellen Rosenfeld, the clerk. I also have Mike Kaczynski, our town administrator, and Karen Bray DeMarzo, our assistant town administrator.
Erin, can I just say one thing?
Yes.
Matt, we're continuing for 2 more, is it 2 more weeks, Mike?
May 18th.
3 weeks. May 18th for your piece.
So you can
Nothing's
slide out.
happening. You guys were correct, and they're reviewing,
But we'll continue until the 18th,
so you
so
don't
you
have
can
to
leave.
sit here.
You can if you want.
You're welcome to.
I wouldn't do that to somebody if they didn't,
No.
if they had an item that didn't need to be here.
We have a decent agenda for the evening, so we'll get started. I did want to say one thing first to start. There's been some interesting activity on social media lately, and I just wanted to take a moment to say that we are, all 3 of us, people who are volunteers and have the best interest of the town at heart. And we all try to do our best for what's best for the town and all of the people in it. And that is how we approach things. We debate, we discuss, we sometimes don't make a popular decision, but we do what we feel is best with the information we have at the time for everyone in this town. So I just wanted to lead with that. We do have some announcements coming up on Monday. This coming Monday, May 4th, is our annual town meeting. Everyone is encouraged to attend. It is at 7:30 at the Millis Middle High School. So that is Monday, May 4th. You need to be there in person to participate. We have how many articles? 20?
23, I believe.
Around 23-ish articles. So it should go pretty well. It'll be a good meeting, so everyone's encouraged to attend. Also coming up, the following Monday on May 11th is the annual town election. Everyone is encouraged to come out and vote. If you cannot come out and vote on Monday, May 11th, early voting is available at the clerk's office. You can call them, or you can go in person to vote. We also had the Millis Housing Survey come out. You should have received an email if you're on the listserv, or there's a link from the webpage, right, Karen? Yes. So it's just it's a survey about housing needs and specific to, your own personal situation, and it's just for us to get a better feel for the pulse of housing in Millis. So if you could take a moment and fill that out, that would be wonderful. We also have, yearly, we put out a town report. So the Town of Millis 2025 Annual Town Report has been completed, and it will be ready within the next week or so for residents to pick up a copy if you'd like one.
It will, and I just want to say, a very special thank you to Victoria Schindler.
Yes.
She's actually our benefits coordinator. No, she's our HR generalist. I'm not sure what her exact title is. She always worked on the town report. This is something she still took on this year, and she did an absolutely fantastic job, and we're submitting it for a potential prize at the Mass Municipal Association next winter, so we'll let you know. But if you see her, give her a little shout out because she did an amazing job.
Yep, looks great. Okay, so starting off our agenda tonight, we have our municipal moment, and it is our Millis Stitch and Sew Bears for Charity. Very excited to welcome Joyce Boyardi and Anne Marie Gagnon. with the Council on Aging, with their very lovely cuddly bears.
Thank you. I appreciate you inviting me. I'm usually sitting there, though, not here. So I guess you'd like to know a little bit about the Bears and when
Yes.
they started. All right. So about 2.5 years ago, as a board member of the Council on Aging, we were talking about what we could possibly do for the community as a program. And I honestly don't know why it happened, but I said, oh, my mom used to make teddy bears in another town for charities. How about we bring it here? And the Friends and Anne Marie embraced it. And it was supposed to be, I thought, maybe a handful of women who would get together Mondays and Thursdays and make some teddy bears and just enjoy. And it's turned into quite a lovely event. We are now 2.5 years into it. We've made over 1,000 bears and distributed those. We just have had our third fundraiser, which brings money in. We've also been featured recently on Channel 5, which was wonderful. They really highlighted what our girls do. I couldn't possibly have done this all without all of them, without Anne Marie's support, the board support, the Friends support, and you folks, because this has become far greater than I ever expected. So, there.
So yes, when Joyce brought the project to us, and it's, if you saw the Channel 5 on 5 for Good a few weeks ago, and you can still find it online, it talked about how she brought the program that was her mother's idea originally at another senior center, and has now brought it here. It created this wonderful sense of community, brought people together to learn new skills, share old ones, and then all of a sudden have this amazing product that the best place to put it is in other people's hands who may need this type of comfort. So everything from children's groups to municipal police and fire, other groups, just hospice, hospitals, it just runs the gamut, and it's gone quite beyond Millis, and it's extraordinary. And then, of course, with the Channel 5 piece, which Joyce, thankfully, you reached out with them, they responded right away, and they put us, put a spotlight on the program and on Millis, which is wonderful. We have a lot of creative talent from your program to other programs downstairs. They give back to the community. And it's just something really special, and we wanted to, thank you for having us speak about it. Thank Karen for participating in the video. I was not available that day. And Joyce for your inspiration and what you bring to the group. I mean, as the ladies in the video said, it's more than just making the bears. It's camaraderie, it's support, it's a lot of chit-chat, and, bringing new people in. And now with the spotlight on us, have a lot more materials and a lot more interest, and many more places that we're going to be sending these out. So thank you.
Wonderful.
And Madam Chair, I just wanted to add, I was down there stepping in for Anne Marie when they did the spotlight, but I sat with them for a while as they were making the bears, and it's fantastic. You don't have to know how to sew. You just have to know how to chit-chat and perhaps use a pair of scissors to cut out, something, or stuff the bears. You can just join to join, and it was that feeling of that camaraderie. They were joking around with each other. It was just a great environment. So I do think it's far beyond what just the giving of the bears. I think the whole idea of it has been wonderful. So it's been really something.
Well, when somebody actually said,
Congratulations.
thank you. When somebody actually said to me it saved their life,
Truly.
the impact, every time I say that and tell somebody that, I get goosebumps head to toe, because it's a reality. We have people who are knitting and crocheting at home who can't come in. We have some who cut at home, cut the bears, who can't come in. We just brought, 2 people just came in from different communities and are joining our sewing group. We have a woman from Medfield, a woman from Franklin, a woman from Holliston that will be coming, a woman from Milford. These are all new people because they saw the show and they go, oh, can we join in? I had a woman drive today from Devens, all the way from Devens, and she donated, she's 88 years old, and she donated her fabric and all of her teddy bears that she makes, which are very similar to ours, and ready to be stuffed. And she and her friends stayed for 2.5 hours and jibber-jabbered. What's happened is people didn't know how to do things, but wanted to be able to do something for others. And they've learned along the way. and I now have people who actually sew who never knew how to. So it's nice, yeah, yeah.
Now Joyce, there's a GoFundMe, correct?
Yes, yep.
So
there's a-
what does the money go to when you collect it?
Okay, the money right now, Channel 5 has it, I believe, still on on Channel 5. And the money will go to more materials to be able to support the program. It will pay for the material, the stuffing, the eyes, the nose, anything, the yarn. It'll keep the program going. And it's great that people have donated fleece, but it goes very quickly.
Okay,
Very quickly. We bought out Joann's when they closed and thought buying $1,000 worth of fleece for $100 was going to last us years. We've run out of it. So, because we do so many bears, and there's so many places now, we've now gotten charities like Santa Foundation and different places that have contacted us to be able to donate. And it's not just 5 bears, 10 bears, it can be 40 bears, 60 bears. And there's a need. The need is huge. We've got memory care coming on Thursday to pick up bears. And
nice.
So it's
nice.
good.
So if you had a wish list, if you, outside of getting cash money for purchasing what you guys want specifically, if you could say, we always would like this, would it be fleece? Would it be stuffing? Like, what would you like if people were going to try to donate?
Well, their time, if they wanted to join us.
Okay,
Because I
great. Yeah.
really think it's important. It's so heavenly down there. I mean, we all tease, but we get along so well, and there's such an eclectic group. You saw it, you see it, and yet we all have one purpose. So I would think people who wanted to join us. Our wish list would be to have a really good embroidery machine so that we could embroider.
Okay.
That would be awesome. We don't have that. I brought in an old machine that's mine, and it does tiny little embroidering, but it's 28 years old, and it's very basic. I mean, if we had something like that. We've got a couple nice machines that the ladies have brought in that are their own, but if we had a couple really good sewing machines.
Okay.
So that
Great.
kind of stuff.
That's important. That's good. I'm sure there's people at home listening right now,
Thank
like me,
you.
that have a sewing machine at home that have not sewn anything in at least 10 years. That,
Yeah.
could probably use a tune-up, but then maybe it might, be a good fit. So we'll see.
Well, we've had, I don't want to say we're getting snobby, but we've had a lot of sewing machines that have been donated and with good intentions. And they might. Yes, and they were wonderful when we got started, but the more advanced we've gotten and the thicker the fabric is, some of these machines can't hold up. So we
Yes.
really need to get a couple really good
New
heavy-duty
machines,
machines.
yeah.
The others are good for teaching, but for the actual work, a couple really good heavy-duty machines.
Okay.
And a facelift in that room. I mean, we have we're kind of like broken shelving and, we're making do because the purpose of this is to give, but the environment is part
I
of it.
think we can work on that.
Yeah, all in good time.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. Yeah, so thank you so much. Joyce, thank you very much. And to everybody else who has supported us, our friends on our board, and all of you, thank you. Thank you.
Sorry for
Wonderful.
rambling.
Thank you.
I get nervous.
No, it's great. Thank you, Joy.
Truly, I encourage anybody who hasn't been down there when they are working to just pop in. It's quite the outfit. They have a ton of things going on.
And more space.
Yes, yeah, more space.
Hey, I'm not asking for a lot.
Yeah,
No, not at all.
No.
Thank you.
wonderful. Thank you, Joyce. Thank you, Anne Marie.
Thank you.
Okay, next we have some appointments. We have DPW seasonal workers.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. Every year, we do appoint some seasonal workers to assist the DPW in their summer work. There's a lot of general maintenance, public works projects, mowing, raking, sweeping, roadside cleanup, painting, and other things that we need to have done. And we've gotten a lot of productivity out of these folks in the past. And so I am recommending this evening that the board ratify my appointment of Jackson Borst and Joseph Beret as DPW summer workers from May 26th, 2026 until August 28th, 2026.
So moved.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries unanimously.
Great, thank you.
Okay, the next appointment we have is a joint appointment with the Millis Housing Authority to fill a vacancy. So if we could have, who do we have?
Who was here from the Housing
So,
Authority?
Candace.
So we have Scott,
Okay,
and then Mary Ellen's on,
Mary Ellen.
okay, hi.
so you want the board. And I believe that Carol Baker should be on as well.
She was,
Uh,
said she
let me
might be
just
on
make
her
sure.
phone. Does that make a
She-
quorum?
She is on no camera.
Okay, perfect. That's fine.
Okay,
Yeah, they probably should just call their meeting to order.
Yeah,
okay.
Since you have a quorum.
You guys need to call a meeting to order.
So Carol, that'd be you, if you can free up your mic.
So I don't know if you heard that, Carol, if you could call your meeting to order?
I don't see Carol. Are you sure she's on?
Yeah, she's actually,
Yeah,
I see her.
she's,
I'm
yeah.
texting her. Can I call the meeting to order?
So now Mary
think
Ellen,
she's
yeah,
got her
as
phone
vice
muted.
chair, yes, please.
Carol Baker says she's on, but you can't hear her.
That's
she's
okay.
muted,
I'll call
yeah.
the meeting to order.
Okay. Excellent. Okay. Should I read this select board letter?
The
So
letter?
you have her number down in the bottom right.
Yeah, I see that.
It appears muted, though. Which would be on her
Maybe
end.
Mary Ellen could speak to the
Yeah.
person that is,
Okay,
that they're
Yeah.
recommending the appointment of to.
At our most recent meeting, we voted to appoint Joe Degnan as a new member of the board. One of our longtime members had resigned because she moved out of town, and you have to live in town to be on the Housing Authority Board. Joe Degnan has a lot of experience in housing. His work, his real work that he gets paid for is in the housing field, in a nonprofit, I believe. And we think he'll be an excellent asset to our housing authority. A lot of knowledge.
And so, Madam Chair, I just wanted to add, so this is an appointment of, a joint appointment of the Select Board as well as the Housing Authority, and that's because the Housing Authority members are elected members. So when someone resigns midterm, you can have a joint appointment to not complete the term, to step in until the next election. So she didn't step down in time for this election, which is next week,
So
or
it'd
2
be
weeks from
next
now.
year.
So this will go through next year. Does that make sense?
And we've done similar with the school committee before.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly the same.
So this is in accordance with Mass General Law, Chapter 41, Section 11.
Okay.
So the remaining members of the elected board with the select board vote to fill the vacancy until the next election.
Okay,
All right. I move that the Select Board with the Millis Housing Authority jointly appoint Joseph Dagan as the Millis Housing Authority member through May 2027 town elections.
Second.
So this requires a roll call vote, Madam Chair.
okay. All right, Ellen,
Aye.
Craig,
Yes.
I'm a yes.
So
And then
the
you guys
vote
need
is-
to vote as well.
Yes.
All right, and then we
Can
don't,
we-
Do you see Carol?
I think
no,
she's-
it's
is
just
she
a
at a phone?
phone.
The
She's the
5869.
phone.
Yes, that is her.
But
So
it
she's
looks like she
muted.
has
We
it
see
muted.
her, so, yeah.
I don't know if she can unmute her phone.
She's not muted, she just said for some reason it's not connecting.
Oh.
I think she was in the
She
car
said
is the
that she-
problem.
She is, yeah, she had an emergency, so she is in the car, but she said that she is unmuted, but she is available.
She wants to know what everybody is seeing, but
Nothing
Just her phone number.
We just see your phone number, yeah, with the
With
little
a
line
mute.
through it.
with a mute.
a mute on her audio.
Phone.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, you're not going to be able to undo it, I don't think.
No, it's fine.
I think it's her phone, that- yeah,
Yeah.
it's muted.
Do they have
So
a
how many
majority
of
with-
you are there?
She
I
said her
know.
phone is not muted.
How many of them are there to,
Three.
so two can vote and that's fine?
Scott,
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes, Scott voted, so you guys should be all set then if that's
Yeah,
the
I mean,
case.
you don't,
Three is a quorum.
Okay,
Perfect.
and if two voted out of three, then
I
we're
believe
good.
that's sufficient. And
Okay,
it's not like the vote would change the end result, so.
okay,
right, gotcha.
okay. All right,
Yeah.
so that motion carries. Okay,
Excellent.
all right. Thank you very much. What time? Okay, we're good.
We're good.
Okay. Oh, hi. Oh, you're here.
Congratulations.
I was gonna let you know that he could speak also.
Okay.
If anyone had any questions.
Joe is actually here.
Joe, did you want to say anything? Sure, come on up.
I don't understand why this is being weird now.
That one's fine, yeah.
Hi, I'm Joe Degnan. I moved to Millis about 4 years ago, and I'm really looking forward to getting to know more people who live here, more about how this town, just how it is day to day. I've been working in affordable housing since 2011 at a nonprofit in Cambridge called HRI. We have a portfolio of about 1,800 units, and when this opportunity came up from the recent, Housing Authority projects here and the thing from Metro West, I got approached by Carol and Mary Ellen, and I'm looking forward to the opportunity. So thank you. Looking forward to getting to know you all a bit more.
Wonderful. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank you.
And I love ginger ale my whole life. This really makes me feel at home. It's just serendipitous. So I love Millis.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome.
All right, the next thing we have on our agenda, we're about 7 minutes late, but it's a continued public hearing. What? Oh.
Yeah.
A continued public hearing for stormwater land and disturbance permit for Woodlands definitive subdivision. So we need to open the
Nothing.
hearing?
No,
No?
we opened it,
Oh, because it's continued?
Yeah.
Okay.
I checked.
Never mind me.
I looked at my motions.
Silly.
I know, I was prepared to close it.
Dan's going to share his screen anyway. Dan?
I just did.
There we
Ah,
go.
there
There
it
you
is.
go.
All right.
I don't know why I'm having.
Minimize
issues with
that.
Can you
Yeah.
close out?
There we go.
There you go. That works.
That's good.
Hi, Dan.
Good evening.
I might have to put my
I'm
glasses on.
Dan
Doesn't help.
Merrickin with Legacy Engineering here on behalf of the applicant. We've submitted to you an application
Actually,
for
hold on a second. Did you open the hearing? Did I miss
We
that?
did a couple, we. yeah.
Oh, it was continued.
Just a
I apologize.
continuation,
Continue.
a stormwater permit application, a land disturbance permit application for a single-family subdivision that's called the Woodlands. What you're seeing here on the screen is the existing conditions plan. It's about 54 acres of land that is mostly behind Cottage Ave. Cottage Ave is a private way that runs parallel to Main Street. It's a gravel road. There's a piece out front that connects to Main Street, and then the remaining land in the back. The applicant is proposing to develop an open space subdivision. Oh, hang on, I opened the wrong file. Give me 1 second.
Just so the board is aware too, Steve Lee is also on the Zoom meeting. He is the consultant who did the peer review for this. So if you have questions, he'll be able to answer them.
Okay. There we go. Okay, so this is an open space subdivision. The difference between an open space subdivision and a regular subdivision is in a regular subdivision, all of the land is subdivided into lots and roads. In an open space subdivision, the lot sizes are reduced in size in order to minimize the total development area. It's the purpose of it. It's a low-impact development technique of development. So what we are proposing to do here is to develop 44 single-family lots. There would be 3 new roads. We'd have a road coming in off of Main Street. This is just before Village Street as you're coming in from Medfield. This is Village down here. That would be the principal entrance, would come in, circulate around to a cul-de-sac, then there would be a looping road that would loop back to North Street, and then a small connecting road in between. The rest of the land that's shaded here in green would be open space. Most of it undisturbed. The darker green areas that you see here are stormwater basins for the stormwater management system. And then this is a proposed open space feature that we need to talk about, and we'll talk about that after I go through the design quickly. This has been sent out for peer review. We have received comments. We're working on our response. So essentially just, I know you guys don't really get into the engineering stuff a lot, so high level, a lot of this property has no stormwater runoff discharging from it. It's a series of hills and valleys, and aside from the very front of the site near Main Street, no runoff leaves the property. So we have designed various stormwater infiltration systems, infiltration basins in different locations throughout the interior of the site, and those infiltration facilities basically take all the stormwater runoff from the development in those areas and allows it to soak into the ground, just like happens today. It's all pre-treated with catch basins, deep sump catch basins, sediment forebays, and then it discharges to the infiltration systems. Out in front is the only area where there is any discharge. And we have, between Cottage Ave and Main Street, we have a stormwater infiltration basin. Everything out here is sand and gravel, so everything soaks into the ground. And then for the last little bit, there'll be an underground infiltration system along the side of the road. We have erosion control specified, as is typical throughout construction. We have a stormwater pollution prevention plan, which has been prepared and submitted. Again, you have comments generated that we're working on a revision to, but the stormwater management system is pretty straightforward, mostly because very little runoff leaves the site today. The thing that I want to talk to you about tonight is an open space amenity that was proposed to the planning board back when this open space special permit was issued, and that is a potential soccer field at the rear of the site, the right rear corner of the site. This is an area that was formerly an old gravel pit. It's already partially disturbed. Island Road comes up from the right, the back right. There's Island Road right there. Island Road is a gravel road. The site would be accessed through Island Road, and if the select board wants the applicant to, they will build a soccer field, and they will give it to the town. The town would then take ownership and control and maintenance of the soccer field, but it's something that the applicant offered as part of this development. So the select board needs to decide if you want the soccer field.
You say it's accessed from Island Road,
Yes,
but Island Road's a gravel road,
correct,
and it's going to maintain, it's going to stay one.
yes.
Okay. What about parking?
There's a parking lot here.
Where?
This area, so we have an entrance driveway, and I want you to understand that the detailed design of this is subject to a different permitting process. It's subject to site plan review. So this is conceptual. If you decide that you want it, we would prepare a detailed site design for the soccer field, and it would go before the planning board and then back before you with a more detailed design. But we have conceptualized an entrance gravel driveway that comes into a parking field right here. This is a stormwater basin. This is a stormwater basin. This is a stormwater basin, and this would be soccer field. And this whole area is presently disturbed.
And what's the elevation? What's all the rest of the green look like? Is it wet? Is it dry? What is it?
It's all dry,
It's all dry.
yeah.
So is it fields? Is dirt?
This is all, so as this whole area here, where the soccer field is partially vegetated, partially dirt paths.
Okay.
Looks like kids go
But
down
what's-
there and ride.
But what's the rest of
motorbikes and stuff.
parcel A? The whole piece that goes right out to Main Street?
So this is all, the rest of the site is wooded. So all of the rest of this green area here would remain wooded and undisturbed.
I don't even know where this piece is, I have to be honest.
Really?
Yeah, I mean,
I know where Island Road is, and I've never been
It's
back there.
between
I know.
Yeah.
Environmental Drive and
Yeah.
Main Street. It's basically all that land in between.
Yeah. I've never been back there to look at it, though.
no.
So I might have questions.
Well,
Yeah. See if the
yeah, we
audience
have
has
a,
questions.
we have a soccer person here we've invited. And she can't wait to get to the podium.
That's not true. I just have questions. I'm Danielle Ferraro, and I am a member of the Board of Directors for Millis Soccer Club. I'm wondering, when you say soccer field, we love the idea, want to say yes, but there are different sizes of soccer fields, and currently we use Oak Grove, and each season we shift the field so that they don't get worn out in the same area. So when you say soccer field, is there a proposed amount of yardage?
It's an 11v11 field, it's full field. You know, you can obviously split that up and use it for smaller fields, like is common
Right.
practice with
Yes.
younger kids.
Right.
But yeah, we're proposing to build a full soccer field. I can get the dimensions of that for you. I don't have those off the top of my head.
Okay, that's what we wanted to confirm, because if it's wide enough and built, there's ranges for regulation size fields, and if it's on the higher end of the 11 field regulations, then you can fit two 99s or two 77s or whatever it might be.
Yeah, I think you will be able to do that.
Yeah, right now Millis only has one 99, one 7v7, and one 11v11, so this would be a huge improvement. And similar question, that sort of almost triangular shape down there, is that all wooded? Is that what you were
This,
saying?
yeah, that whole light green triangle area is all existing woodland, and it's gonna remain woodland.
Okay. And I am kind of familiar with back there. I have two kids who like to spend a lot of time outside, and we've gone for hikes and walks back there, and it's pretty rocky, where I think you're talking about. So this would be developed to be seeded field that then, I heard you say the town would be responsible for maintaining. How would it be irrigated? Because that's a current issue that we have with our fields right now, is that there's no irrigation whatsoever, so they get worn out very quickly.
That's a good question. I don't have an answer to that.
That was
Okay.
going to be my question,
Yeah,
so
because
thank
we're
you.
in week 2 of a 10-week season, and that 99 field is already looking pretty muddy at the goal spots. So that would be something that the town would want to know how it's going to be maintained, and who would be responsible for lining it and things like that.
Yeah, this was discussed with the planning board at a very high level, so there needs to be some back and forth about, you know, what would be included in the build. And I need to talk to the applicant about that. And I don't know if you would want lighting back there. Good question.
Right.
Yeah, I'm not so sure about lighting. but
Lighting, yeah,
watering
lighting
would
sounds like
irrigate.
that'd be an issue, maybe, but. No, you wouldn't need lighting though, right? No.
I mean, turf was mentioned by one board member. I don't know what the options are here, but there's just a lot of talk of grass at our meetings, so
Yeah, I don't
anything
think
we
it would
could
be
get would be
turf.
great.
It would be
No.
grass field.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
So, yeah, if the concept of them delivering us a soccer field, like if somebody said, here's a green, ready-to-use soccer field, what happens next is up to you. Then we would need to figure out how we water said soccer field, who waters that soccer field, what we're going to do with it. So I think we
Yeah.
need to discuss that part.
And I think we need to get DPW in to discuss that with us, because I don't know
Yeah.
much about
I was
soccer.
just going to say, I'm pretty sure the DPW, I'm pretty sure, I'm only just started my second year on the board, but I'm pretty sure the DPW is in charge of the mowing of the Oak Grove fields, but the soccer board does the lining through
When
just
you
all
say
through
lining, what
volunteers.
does that mean?
Well,
The lines.
Oh, the lines,
Yes.
lines, oh.
so it takes us,
Okay.
depending on how many people we have, about 5 hours at the start of the season to measure it out to the regulation sizes for the 3 fields. And then every week, there are people out there repainting the lines so that they can be played on We have a storage box there so that they can keep flags and things like that. We store goals there. It's all volunteer.
Yeah,
So,
I'd be interested in
Wow.
DPW's view of watering, irrigation, and mowing. I'm going to leave you to continue the lining.
But Danielle, you have a board.
Yeah.
You have a soccer board.
yes.
So we can, you're the applicant, you can have conversations directly, right? I'm not a soccer person. I don't know anything about soccer.
I mean, I think it comes, I think it sounds like, correct me if I'm wrong, it sounds like if they're delivering a field, that the sizing is appropriate, that you guys are all in,
I think yes.
and that we would need to work out the rest of those logistics
Yes.
in terms of, you know, what we
I'm-
do with it after.
I mean, at this point, we have Oak Grove that we are very appreciative of, that we very, very much enjoy having that space, but it just gets worn out so fast. We have 7 teams currently sharing one 9v9 field, and we are told that we can't practice on the 9v9 field because it gets so worn out from hosting the games each week. So,
Okay,
yes, this is a plea for fields.
okay.
Yeah, I think we obviously aren't going to commit to it tonight, but I think I'm very interested in this opportunity. I think it's a great option, and I don't know what the next step is besides getting more information from our DPW about, maintenance and all that.
Yeah, you would just have to figure out,
Yeah.
if you can maintain it, right?
Yeah.
That's what it boils down to.
Yeah.
If you want it and if you can maintain it.
Yeah, I'm very interested in it. I want to find out more details. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't need an answer from us tonight on that, do you?
No.
Okay, all right, thank you.
But my only comment would be, I don't want to play telephone with
No.
our board, because we don't know anything. I'd really like, they're interested.
Sure.
This goes
Yeah.
without saying, so don't sell it.
Yeah.
But they need to be involved. I didn't even know there were 2 different sizes, so.
There's lots of different sizes.
I stopped with soccer at age 6.
Right.
So, yeah.
But so we will, I know how to get her,
Okay.
and she knows how to get the rest.
Yeah.
And this is a good start. Any other questions, Danielle?
I think this plays into your whole fields discussion in general, that you
Yeah.
should probably look
Field
at this
maintenance,
summer about who's
yeah.
maintaining what field, and
Yes,
and I
that's a
think
big
that's
discussion we have to
something,
have.
this is a reminder that we need to get that going again.
Joyce Boyardi, 206 Orchard. I do have a question. Did you say that there was areas of that had the water was being maintained?
Well, we
The
have,
runoff- So there's no runoff and all? Is it-
correct, we have stormwater basins that capture all the runoff from the development and allow it to soak into the ground.
Is there any possibility that those stormwater basins could be utilized for the fields to, I don't know enough about it, so this is just
Well, they would-
a very innocent question. Would there be any way of that water being utilized to take care of the fields?
Oh, you mean
Like
irrigation?
turn around and
Yeah.
use it to water things?
Right,
I think that's let's
That's hard
talk
to
to the
do.
DPW
Yeah.
question.
right,
Yeah.
but I'm just posing that out just
It's not a
for
bad
food,
idea.
Just for food.
It's a thing,
It is a thing.
kinda.
Yeah.
No?
Kind of. I mean, you can do it with wells too, it's
Yeah.
another scenario.
Yeah,
It's
we'll-
got
we'll-
easy
we'll have
for
a
11
conversation.
Union. You know, we've been talking for years about fields. I mean, Craig, you know, we had
Yep.
I don't know how many fields discussion. I think this is great, but it goes back to the staffing, the DPW, the strain it will put on them. And it goes back to, it was mentioned a while back ago about making a park and a rec and having, additional staffing along with the DPW, but having another department with a few guys that would just do ball fields and the soccer fields. It's great to have, but it comes to question, who maintains it? How do we water it? And these are the things we really need to look at. We need the additional fields, there's no question, but staffing it, maintaining it's the big question. So
Yeah.
that's something to really consider. Thanks.
Thank you.
Can I ask a question to soccer? Is
Danielle?
Oak Grove watered, or is it just the rain? Okay, so it'd be great if it was, but it doesn't have to be watered. I understand you think I understand you think it has to, but we have several that aren't. So, yeah. Right, I'm just trying to figure out what's viable and what's available. Yeah, yeah. I would
Jim
prefer
Duffy,
it,
343 Exchange Street. So I'm familiar with that area. Island Road is very rough.
Yeah.
So above and beyond all of this, it's now maintaining and bringing Island Road up to snuff. The question on the parking area, is that paved? Is that gravel?
I think he said gravel, right?
Yeah, I think we would probably do gravel, except for the accessible spaces, which would be paved.
Mike,
You can also access this site from Environmental Drive, not just Island Road.
it goes each way, but
Yeah.
it's very rough. The other, not to rain on a soccer parade, but how did a soccer field get chosen over a dog park or a softball field or any sort of thing? How did soccer get thrown out there?
It was floated, and planning board liked the idea.
Fine, thanks.
Thank you.
Hi, Andrew Manning, 12 J. William Heights. I'm here representing Butters, so I'm on J. William Heights on the edge of this. I just wanted to communicate to you folks, part of this development has been through the planning board process. There's been open meetings. As an abutter, we did not ask, and there are a few of us here, and I don't know that it was truly clear that the soccer field would be discussed, so I'm guessing there's lack of people showing up that are abutting this. We never asked for a soccer field to be developed in there. If you do go back there, this section of Island Road is really rough. During the planning board process, there was a lot of talk about Island Road to access this development, and Jim McKay was pretty clear that that road does not meet current state mandates and would need significant money to upgrade that road if there's a heavy volume of people going in. But I think just as an abutter, you're disturbing the land. There's open space there that people are using and neighbors use pretty frequently. It's not the most beautiful piece that remains open. It's more of a sand pit, but again, just abutters weren't really necessarily looking for a soccer field. I do coach soccer, so Danielle's gonna kill me, but one of the things that some of these other developments have been willing to do is donate money in its place, and then maybe there's a more suitable location for a field. So I would just ask this board to maybe consider that and look into that with the developer as well. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Just a question on access that, this gentleman brought up. So you said, so the main access to this development's going to be from Main Street?
Correct.
Okay. And then, so then you just have to drive around. Okay.
Yeah, to get at the fields, yeah. There's a very significant topographical, so you see this line here and this line here? Those are 10-foot intervals. So 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 feet of grade difference from where the soccer fields is to the upper area where the subdivision will be.
So the soccer field's low?
It's down.
I'm going up, okay. I
Yes.
didn't know section.
It's down low.
Okay.
Just a reminder that Steve Lee is on as well, who's your consultant, in
Oh.
case you have questions or.
Okay. Do you guys have questions so far?
Well, is there any plan for the developer to upgrade the Island Road?
No.
No.
Is it possible to upgrade Island Road?
Well, it's always,
It's a gravel road. Environmental Drive, honestly, is in better condition than the part of Island Road, that if you had to go down Island Road to get here, the end of it before you get to this location is rough. But Environmental Drive is in good shape. It's a gravel road, but it's in good condition.
and where is that on this plan?
It runs
It's on
along
the top.
the railroad. So this
Oh.
is Environmental Drive. This is your DPW,
I know where that is.
and this is Environmental Drive, and it goes all the way down to the end,
Yeah.
and then it basically connects to Island Road.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so the big item we're looking for I got it, I'm just looking at my map now. The item tonight, though, is the sewer and water and land disturbance permit is what we have to get to, also beyond just the soccer field.
Well, the land disturbance permit is what's before you.
Yes.
You previously approved the sewer and water connection subject
Yep.
to technical review, so I am going to be requesting that you engage GCG to conduct a technical review of the proposed water and sewer system. I'll touch on it now. I think you might recall that this developer agreed to reconstruct your Dover Road sewer pump station as part of the development. So right now, water and sewer comes down, all this sewer drains down Main Street, down to a pump station. And there's sewer in Dover Road, and there's sewer in other places. And then that pumps it back up Main Street to a gravity system. So
Okay.
GCG indicated early on in the process that that pump station is at capacity and needs to be replaced, and this developer agreed to do that work. So we have a separate plan that we will be submitting for the reconstruction of the Dover Road sewer pump station.
Okay.
But those are technically separate from what the hearing tonight is. I just want to kind of touch all the topics.
Okay.
So we should hear from,
So we should hear from Mr. Lee. Do you have anything that you wanted to add to this discussion specifically, outside of specific questions?
Yes, hello.
Yeah.
It's nice, it is nice to see everybody on the board, and for having me. Yes, so, and please excuse my voice, what little voice I have. So, we, the beta group, reviewed the submission. We're actually reviewing this project with all of the boards in town. So, we have many comments regarding it, and a lot of them cross over onto all of the boards. For the most part, the submission, when we reviewed it, it was very thorough, it was complete, and the engineering was sound. A lot of our comments that we did have were minor, many of them administrative in nature, clarifying certain things, asking for certain calculations, riprap sizing, stuff like that. But we didn't have any major glaring issues with it. It's not something that we were confident that once the plans are resubmitted, that we don't see any reason why the comments won't be addressed.
And
I can answer any questions, or I can go through individual items on my review if anyone would like that, but generally they're very minor and they're more about like stormwater calculations
Okay,
and stuff.
great, thank you.
And we are almost done with our revisions, so Steve, within the next couple of weeks, I know you're going on vacation, but within the next couple of weeks, we'll get that into the town and to you, for you guys to do your follow-up review.
Okay.
Great.
At this time, do you guys have any further questions on the
Do you
board?
have anything, Steve, just as a overlooking this whole thing, I know you don't have an opinion either way about the soccer field, but do you think that a soccer field and the parking and the Island Road, the way it is, do you think that's something that would be an asset to the town? Is that the wrong way of saying it? What do you think?
I don't know the idea of a soccer field for any town sounds really nice. I do not know anything about the condition of Island Road
right.
or the abutters or any of that situation. It's simply from an aesthetic, a new soccer field certainly sounds nice.
Okay, I
And
thought
an
maybe
open
you,
space parcel is something I might consider it a good option, if you're asking my opinion.
I am, I didn't know if you would been
But-
to the site, that's all.
But it wouldn't impact the items we're voting on tonight, the stormwater and the land disturbance on a soccer field either way. Right.
No, especially since Mr. American mentioned that the land-specific pieces that the soccer field would be on is already semi-disturbed, correct?
Correct.
Okay,
And if the town decided they wanted the field, we would carve off a piece of the open space and we would deed that to the town. The rest of the open space will be owned and maintained by a homeowners association.
okay.
And back to Steve. On your letter that you wrote, SW10 through SW21 are your comments. It's section 7 plans. Those are your comments? Or is there a 1 through 9 that I don't see?
No, so it starts at SW10.
Okay.
Again,
These all seem very minor.
It's in there, but essentially because I was reviewing for 3 different boards, a lot of the comments were the same. So I get to the original comment number.
Okay,
Yeah.
Yeah.
okay. Because if we vote this, we're going to vote it, yeah. If we vote this, it'll be subject to clarification.
You're not going to vote this tonight.
Okay.
I'm going to request a continuance so that Steve can review the revised plans.
Well,
and-
thank you, because otherwise we're going to have to try to make some weird motion that just ends in 3 dots on the page.
Dot, dot, dot.
Yeah.
No, we're not going to be doing that tonight.
All right. Oh, okay.
If we were going to go forward with this, you would actually carve that off
Yes,
and deed that piece?
to the town.
Okay.
In terms of stormwater and land disturbance permit, are there any other comments from the public at this time? Yes. I'm going to have to ask you to come up and then just state your name and address into the microphone.
See her back there. Didn't see the hand go up.
You can move it down a little bit too. Yeah, there you go.
Hi, my name is Paula Berganza. I live at,
Oh, you got to get
gotta
closer.
get really close.
Sorry.
oh,
Yes.
Okay.
Yep, perfect.
okay. My name is Paula Berganza, and I live at 585 Main Street. And don't know how this is going to affect the area.
What number, Main Street?
585?
585. Do you know where that is in relation to this?
I don't, not off the top of my
At
head.
the corner?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
right on the corner
She's
of
right, here, right?
Main Street and
Oh, North Street.
Cottage.
I believe that they were,
Right on the corner of North and Main,
On the corner of North and Main?
yeah, right?
Yeah.
Yes, okay.
pretty sure it's right here.
Google Maps.
I mean, honestly, from Main Street, you're going to see very little. The main roadway in from Main Street, you'll see the road, and you might see the first few houses, but after that, the road goes over a crest and goes down a hill. And from Main Street, you're going to see very little, actually, from Main Street.
Okay.
It's set back quite a ways.
All right, thank you.
Sure.
So that first little green area right there that runs into Main, there's no houses in that. There's
Sorry.
just, no,
No.
the other one,
Right.
that one right
This-
there.
That one, yeah.
Yeah,
No, this is just going to be, it's not official open space, but it's open space. Everything that's green here is either a stormwater basin or open, not part of lots or
Right.
roads. So about 47% of the total site is open space. Yeah, all you're really going to see from Main Street is this beginning part of the road. Then you'll probably see these 2 houses. There's an existing house here on lot 16 that's going to be demolished. That's the only house on the property. And then once you get over this, the road starts to go down and up, and you won't be able to see any of those houses from Main Street.
Okay. All right. So at this time, you want us to continue this
Yes, please.
to the 18th?
No, so
I was gonna say the earliest would be the 18th.
if I'm getting a revision to Steve in 2 weeks, Steve's going on vacation. He needs, probably 3 or 4 weeks, Steve, to review it. So I think we're looking something like 6 weeks out or something like
We've
that.
got June 1st, June 15th.
June 15th?
Do either of those?
All right, we
work?
do have at least one more question. Oh, we have 2 more questions. Okay, yep,
Hi, Lon Win Kim from 27 Cottage Ave.
yeah.
I have a question, and I'm sorry. Was there a traffic study from that? Sorry, I'm just trying to point where it is. It's where that new road right there, where that mouse is.
This,
Oh, no, right, sorry.
here,
Is that me? Sorry.
Right, yeah, right there.
the main entrance.
The main entrance.
The main entrance.
Yeah.
There is a traffic study. It's on file with the planning board.
Okay, and then what about the traffic study on North Street?
That's also included.
Okay, all right, I'll look it up.
All right, and we have one more question.
Joe Degnan, 244 Orchard Street. What's the acreage of the development?
It's about 54 acres, a little less.
How many bedrooms in the development?
It's designed for 4 per house, so 176.
Thank you.
And I have one question also.
Okay.
Mr. Duffy, I'm going to call on you. This is, you can nod. Is this on our list of sewer capacity reserves?
It's
No,
not.
Yes, it is.
I thought, it is.
It is.
Well, we did approve a sewer for it.
Yeah, it's been approved. Yeah, it's on the list.
Approved.
It's approved.
Oh, you don't have, okay.
It's under a different name.
Okay.
It's on proposed projects, but I'm not aware that it was.
Okay, it has been approved, I remember.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was approved.
Yes.
I'll have to look back.
Yeah, I don't know.
It was a
but-
while ago.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Sorry, so June, you have June 1st or June 15th, or then you're looking at July 13th?
Good.
There's only one meeting in July and one in August.
I'm good with June 15th. Does that work for everybody else?
Yeah, I think
June 15th?
June 15th is the
June
right date.
15th?
That's why I can say it's okay without even looking. It's a
So how
Monday
about
night,
June
I'm here.
15th at 7:15? Does that work for you guys?
perfectly.
All right, so
I'll move that we continue the hearing until June 15th at 7:15 PM.
And then if that date changes, are you gonna have to like post it somewhere before the week before?
Well, we.
It can't
we'll be-
change.
well, we can't change that date, but we will get, if you get here at 7:15 and we do this, walk out the door. Okay? That's what we did with the last hearing that's coming up.
So under state law, we have to either hold to that date, or at that date, we can continue it to a later meeting, but we can't hold it any earlier than that.
right.
And if we do continue it, we'll try to give you a high sign at the start of the meeting so you can come in and walk out.
Right.
All right, so I have a motion.
Yes, it was to continue it to the June 15th.
At
Okay.
7:15.
At 7:15. All right, it's been moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. It'll be continued to June 15th at 7:15.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Let's see why this is being weird.
Okay, the next one is another
Yeah.
Public hearing.
continuance, another public hearing continuance that we are going to re-continue. Do we
Yeah.
have Christine, though?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, she should be on. Christine, can you hear us?
Hi, yes, this is Christine.
There you go.
Hi, Christine.
Hello.
So at this time, it sounds like we might not have all the answers we're looking for just yet?
Yes,
Okay,
that's correct.
all right.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we continue this hearing till May 18th at 7:30.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to May 18th at 7:30. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously.
Karen, I think you turned off our video.
I'm like, how?
You clicked on it, I watched it.
Oh, sorry, thank you.
Those magical things just happen.
Yeah, but why is it still not showing, you see?
Right.
I don't know.
I'm like, what the heck is going on, right?
Multi-speaker.
Maybe hit,
gallery.
no.
If I talk now, no?
Click on that with all the pictures.
Gallery. Look at, the video's on, right? Am I losing my mind? Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
yeah, your video's on, all right.
Sorry, I don't know why.
Okay, we'll carry on. Hopefully, folks can,
It's showing
at
it on,
least
I can
hear
see it
us.
on YouTube. So those
Okay.
who are watching on YouTube, it is
Okay.
showing. I don't know why it's not showing here. All of a sudden, it stopped showing.
all right? Okay.
I'm okay with that.
That's okay.
Okay, all right.
I'm not
Well, the
saying
next
I'm
item we
solved.
have is the Millis housing discussion. This is a continuation of the discussions we've been having. We had a meeting on March 23rd, as well as April 6th, where we discussed the potential for a land transfer to the Millis Housing Authority. What happened through those meetings is we had a series of discussions about two specific properties that the town owns, which is the Braun property and the Cassidy property. We discussed a lot of concerns with those properties. The Very high-level summary is that the Millis Housing Authority is looking for us to transfer a parcel of land on which to build 45 units of affordable housing, which is truly affordable housing, which is 30% of someone's income. It could also be referred to as a 40B, but it's not the same as all of the other 40Bs that are out there. This is something that is truly affordable for residents of Millis that otherwise may not be able to afford to stay here. There's been a lot of great questions asked, and we have we've done some research and we've put together some answers. Do I claim to have all the answers? No. Do I hope that we're able to get through and answer some things a little bit more clearly? Yes. What we ultimately decided to do in conjunction with Millis Housing Authority is give this issue some more time. So we're looking to potentially revisit this for our November town meeting and make a recommendation closer to that time in terms of a parcel to recommend to town meeting to approve or deny for housing. So let's see, how do we want to kick this off? Do you want to start talking about anything specific, or do you want me to go down this list?
Well, we can talk how you asked us to review the
Yeah.
meetings.
Yep, so we all watched, rewatched hours worth of meetings. And it was a very lively weekend in my house. And there was a lot of good information given. We had legal counsel with us at our the last meeting we discussed this at on April 6th. We also had, we were sent a great list of questions that we could get a little bit more granular into. So we're going to talk about some of those as well. There were a number of concerns, things like related to wetlands, things related to sewer, questions related to traffic and wildlife. We're going to talk about all of these things. I'll also take some questions for sure, questions and comments. So what we'll do is we'll just kind of start going down this list, and I guess I'll start with some of it, and then you guys can kind of jump in.
History after that.
Well, yeah.
Oh, yeah,
You
you know
split 'em
what?
up.
Why don't you start with history?
Ooh, history.
Yeah.
I love
History.
that.
All right,
I
I'm going
like
to
it.
start out by saying this is the 1998 annual town report. My wife made fun of me because I have a shelf of these from 93 and I moved to town, and I almost threw them away last year, but I didn't. And for the first time ever, I referred to it. Just a quick plug for Victoria. This is 98. This is the current one. Night and day difference. This is almost unreadable, but I did. And this is a joy to read. So, very nice. I hope we win the award. If not, most improved. So I looked back at 98. 98 is when we voted to buy the Cassidy land. It was the Maytown meeting. It was Article 17. And Article 17 basically moved that this land be sold for municipal buildings and municipal parking areas. That's it. That was all of the Cassidy land was originally voted in May of 1998 to be municipal buildings or municipal parking areas. And that passed with a majority vote. I don't see it on here, but it says majority. And then the very next motion, interestingly, Article 18, was to set aside the entire parcel as conservation land. And that was dismissed. So that didn't pass. So the first article in the warrant said buy it and use it for municipal buildings and parking. The second article said use it for open space and recreation, and that was defeated. So it was clearly purchased for municipal use and parking. Then, coming up to the next one, see, I went through and read. In November, we didn't have a quorum, so we came back twice, but the second time back, we had a quorum, so we voted it in November of 98 to transfer a portion to conservation. And the reason we did that is because we got a grant, and we saw a way to reduce our debt by picking all the wet space and everything else that's undevelopable and say, great, we won't develop it. We don't need that for municipal parking or construction. So we got a grant, we conveyed certain parcels, they're all listed, and those can never be built, which is exactly what we're saying. So there was clearly, from the very inception of this was seen as municipal use. And as our attorney told us 2 weeks ago, affordable housing is a municipal use. So it's absolutely legal. Now, moving on to the 2021, we did upgrade. It's a glossy cover, it's a nice photo. But 2021 report, we bought the Braun property, and I believe this was November, but I think it was a beautiful day when we met
No,
up.
it was spring.
It was spring? No,
Yes.
May 1st, you're right, okay. We were outside, I remember that.
We were
Lovely day.
outside because it was COVID.
Yeah.
It was the best town meeting in the history of ever.
Yeah. So.
Ever. It was a gorgeous day, and
It
it was
was nice.
outside. A little bit.
It was a lot of work to plan.
But
we'll
anyway,
just say that.
Article 20, not to digress further, Article 20 conveyed the Braun property. And in this case, there's a line in the motion, the town can use the land for whatever purpose it decides, whether affordable housing or senior housing, open space, or even sell it. That's right there in the motion that was voted on. Next line down, Ellen Rosenfeld, not a member of any board at that moment, said real estate's always a good investment. Another person spoke and said maybe we should look at putting affordable housing here. So from the very inception, the Braun property was always considered for housing of some type, affordable or open space. It was available to use for whatever we wanted, but it was never, ever, ever restricted. So none of this land is restricted. We're free to do with it as we choose.
Well, the interesting thing about the Braun property was it was the right of first refusal.
Right.
Millis had the right of first refusal, and we were bidding against Bob Fox. And he had a bid in for $1 million to build a 40B or affordable housing of some sort. So there was
Senior.
Was it going to be
I
senior?
think it was senior.
So an over 55?
Yep.
So it was going to be housing from the get-go. And I remember speaking at that town meeting. They quoted me in the book. I don't actually read them like he does, but
First time ever.
I remember there were a lot of people, we were talking about sewer at the time, so somebody thought it would be a great place for a sewer treatment plant. There was all kinds of things thrown around. So it was never, ever considered for open space there.
Right. And so, I mean, that was the first point, that it is allowable. A lot of people think it's not allowable. From its inception, from each of the purchase dates, they've been
Both of
set
them.
aside, both of them. And the Braun property is a 10-year fixed principal payment borrowing, which meant we pay $100,000 each year for 10 years, and we only pay interest on what's outstanding. So 21, you figure there's a few more years left on it. 98, I don't have the exact turnaround, but a 30-year would be almost paid off on that one too. So I think they're both either almost paid for or paid for, and they certainly will be paid for before ground is broken on either site.
Excellent, thank you. All right, so what else do we have? All right, so at this point, I'm just going to go through a few other items. There were some questions raised about age restrictions within this particular proposed development. And I'm looking at Candace because she's going to correct me if I'm wrong. The question was specifically if children would be allowed to live with a senior in the housing authority, but that would be a no, correct?
So that is a no.
That is a no. So this is a senior, yes, go ahead.
I don't have much more to say about that part.
Okay, yeah, no.
It's age restricted, and there's a reason for that. So no, children will not be allowed.
Yes.
We're looking at elderly, non-elderly disabled.
Okay. And while you're here,
Yes.
so I was wondering if you would just, one more time, go over the process of acquiring the land, The question was, do we give the land to the state? Who will maintain it? And who will construct it?
So the land will be designated to the Housing Authority. The Housing Authority will create a ground lease and go out to bid for the design and the development. And then whoever wins that award will maintain the facility itself and pay back into the town for the taxes, and then pay into the Housing Authority for the ground lease. But the Housing Authority will maintain the ownership of that parcel.
Thank you. All right, and then we had the priority for this development, the priority would be for Millis residents,
Correct.
and it would always be a priority for Millis residents.
Correct. So we're looking at putting into the RFP a local priority and preference. So local veteran.
So wait, just so I'm clear, that means that the CHAMPS process doesn't apply because the RFP will have a restriction in it? So if we have 25 Millis residents on the waiting list of 9,000,
Correct. Well, you won't have that wait list. The wait list is different. The composition is different. You're not inheriting
Okay.
the CHAMP wait list. So it will be created, a wait list will be created according to the property and the way that they reach out to develop this. And of the constitution of that wait list, local veteran will have that priority and preference.
okay. So if there are 25 Millis residents that need to move in, and there's 45 units, we can be pretty sure that 25
That they would
Millis
have local
residents would
priority
move
and
in.
preference.
And we're not going to leave the other 20 units sit empty, so other people would move in, but.
Correct.
And as they became available, Millis people would backfill those spots.
Correct. I mean, because there may not even be as many Millis
Right.
residents as there are vacant units that they're needing to fill at that point in time. So
And that makes
is-
sense, but we had people who were quite adamant that we couldn't deviate from the process that says that 9,000 people, it's the first come, first
CHAMP
served.
does not dictate to this this property.
Okay. And then in terms of tax implications, in terms of like town services and like a tax on town services with this development coming in, the people that, for the most part, that are on this list are already Millis residents, correct? So like they're on this list to get into this housing, but they're already Millis residents.
Correct. If they apply to this property, then,
Right.
as Millis residents, then yes.
So they're already covered under the town services.
Correct.
So that it would be like a lateral move, so to speak.
Correct. You're saying what that draw would be, yes.
Right, right.
So if there's somebody in Millis who moves in there, they're already using Millis Police and Fire.
Correct.
Yeah, and they won't be using Millis School because no kids are allowed there.
Correct.
Right, okay. Let's see, what else was I going to speak to?
Also, I think it was important to traffic study-wise, even with like what we were just talking about in this development,
Yes.
which I found very interesting, only because 4 bedrooms, how many units? So probably, 50 units? Traffic studies and that sort of thing. You're legitimately looking at 45 units, 1-bedroom units, age restricted. The draw on traffic, which those traffic studies will also be done, and I think this has been a concern, regardless of like the layout that was brought up in one of the other meetings, across from the park or anything like that, all of those will be done, but you are talking age restricted, so many of which do not even drive anymore, and that they're 1-bedroom units, and there will not be children. So that draw on traffic is very minimal.
But a traffic study's still going to be
Of course.
required.
Yeah.
Absolutely, as is due diligence for anything like this.
What else did I have? We already answered that. Just for kicks, because I had it on my list. I got the absolute current number right now for affordable housing. We are at 5.7% as of today. So I just wanted to say that. This would count towards our affordable housing stock, but we are currently at 5.7%. I know that has come up multiple times. We just talked about whether this would be a municipal use. Craig covered that.
I can talk about some land stuff.
Yeah, you talk about land stuff. You go
Okay, my
next.
favorite subject. I know this is going
We
to be.
each have our areas.
We do, and this is going to be so boring to many of you, but I'm saying it anyway. Too wet, too wet, too wet. The land there is too wet. The land in both properties are too wet. Some pumps, particularly people in Timberline, have some pumps. I say this to people sometimes, they get upset with me, because when they say I have a sump pump, and I said, well, you had a bad builder, and they want to kill me. It's as simple as that. It's not like you had a bad builder, but you had a builder that put your house in the groundwater table. It's not unusual, because builders come in, and I know the Timberline was built in the mid to late 80s. Oh, Island Road, okay. Either way, built later. If you put the house in the groundwater table, and the groundwater moves, as we all know, in the spring, we get the rains and the snow melts, the groundwater rises, and you're going to get a wet basement. Now, hopefully, in July and August and September, when it dries out, your sump pump's not pumping that hard. And when I say bad builder, I don't really mean that, because they don't take the time, they don't do test holes and see where the groundwater is and pick that. They dig the cellar hole, and they put in the foundation, and they just backfill around it. And so if you have the groundwater that comes up, they could have, for extra money and extra time, brought in a lot of fill. So that would raise your house. It also means that they would have to, I know this is way too technical and I'm boring myself, that means they also have to bring in fill for a yard. Otherwise, your house is going to sit, and then you're going to drop down, and your kids aren't going to have a nice place to play. So they don't typically do that. And even if, somebody told me this, that even if a builder says to the customer they're building a house for, you know, I can bring in this and I can make it this, and you know, you're going to be sitting up a little bit, and your yard's going to be a little bit steeper. And they say, I'll take the sump pump for a couple of months a year. So my point being that the construction of anything next door, even if somebody built a house right next to you, would not affect your situation. It wouldn't make it, listen, I'm only telling you fact and science. It is true. If they build a house next to you, it's their house. It has no effect on the groundwater coming up to your floor, to your garage floor or your cellar floor. Talk to a civil, I know I'm not a civil engineer, I play one on TV, but if you talk to a civil engineer, anybody, it's simple. Just Google it. Why do I need a sump pump? Because your house is in the groundwater table. That's all I'm going to say about that, because I don't want to upset anybody. I'm not here to do that. A wetland. People say a lot, it's a wetland. Cassidy Farm is a wetland. Braun is a wetland. They are not wetlands. There's some wetlands there. There's the difference between, and this is very nuanced, there's a difference between wet land and a wetland. A wetland is a specific designation. It depends on soil conditions and vegetation, and when a botanist, you know, an expert, a wetlands expert goes out and stakes it, they know what they're looking for, and both properties have been staked for wetlands, not wet land. Now, I personally know Cassidy, and I actually know Braun. I'll tell you that story later, but I've been out there in July and August because I went out there to bump into Lobasa, who mows it. He hays it. Well, you can't hay a wetland. He'd sink. He'd never get out. But he's out there in July and August haying and taking the hay. So, again, there are wet areas, certainly, in both properties. We all know that. But there's also upland, which can be built on at both properties. So that's my wetlands explanation.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
When we put this out to the comprehensive permit, though, there will have to be a wetland, capital W, capital L study. And if that fails, this can't be built
Yes.
regardless.
Yes.
So
Yes.
as this goes out, and Candace, this is an honest question, I'm not sure, There will be an RFP, because I know that came up at the last meeting. The RFP, will there be a draft or a layout of a framework to an RFP we can see prior to going to town meeting to vote this?
We can definitely put one together.
And that RFP framework would talk about building height, conceivably, you know, or mechanism to get to building height, that we have a community involvement group that studies all that. We can put together some guardrails before we go to town meeting.
So we can put together what the RFP is going to look like and the
Yeah.
conditions that we're going to request. As far as specifics go, we would not be able to do that because we don't have a designated parcel in order to do that. We have to know exactly what that land composition is going to be in order to know what the dynamic of the structure will
I think you
be.
should consider them both.
Yeah, I think both parcels,
We
that's why
can
we have to
consider
look
them
at it.
both, but not put out
Twice
some-
the work.
Right.
You're right.
So
But
we
to
can't
go-
get a final RFP, but
But to go to town meeting, right, when we go to town meeting, we're going to go with a parcel
Yes.
in
Yes.
mind.
Yes.
So at that point, prior to town meeting,
Yes.
I mean, depending on how far in advance that's decided, that could be
Yes.
feasibly looked at.
Correct.
If
'Cause
we
it'll establish,
it soon
because what
enough.
you're asking about, depending on how big it is, it'll affect the density of the project
Right.
too. There are definitions that you don't want to get specific on if we don't even know
Right.
how much acreage we're working with.
But we could build in things that if sewer hookup, which I know is an item coming up, is required, or sewer system upgrades, that could be spelled out that has to be considered as part of the RFP, conceivably. Not saying what they're gonna be,
Correct.
but that if you can't do it, we're not doing it. We're not gonna
Correct.
run a sewer from the Braun property to one of our stubs in Medway or the other side. It's gonna
There'll
have
be,
to
what you're basically looking at is project eligibility or viability.
Yes.
Correct.
Yeah. All right. That was my question about
Okay.
that. But it'll certainly decide whether if it's wetlands, and if it's wetlands, capital.
Yeah,
W,
this
it
is
won't
all,
be built.
listen,
Yeah.
listen, this is all science. That's what's so good about this. Science and math, all of it. What a wetland is, you get two experts. Maybe we get, GCG or has an expert. It's all science. So it's kind of not left to interpretation. And if the abutters say they question the wetlands designation, they could hire their own wetlands expert, and the two scientists talk to each other. I mean, I hope that we don't get to that, but it's a possibility.
Yeah.
So that, I'm not done yet, Scott, just give me a. Okay, so, Craig brought up sewer. Let's talk about sewer, because there's stuff thrown around here that is just, I don't know where the information is coming from. We've been hearing about the sewer manhole in Exchange and Island Road. There's a manhole in the middle of Exchange Street at Island Road. And a couple of people have mentioned, well, we can't tie in there because it's high pressure. Okay. You can absolutely tie in there. There were two things going on. I knew there was something wrong with that. So I talked to our consultant, Mike Carter, from GCG. Absolutely, you can tie in there. There are two things going on in that manhole, okay? There's a gravity sewer main coming out of it that goes to Medway down Island Road, like along the railroad tracks. But there's also a pressure main that comes from Orchard Street and pumps into it. Then it goes to gravity to Medway. If we choose Cassidy, you can absolutely go into that manhole and go gravity to Medway, unless the building, the elevation is lower than Exchange Street, which you can still tie in. You would need a small pump station that's like 50 grand, not like $1 million. So you can tie in there. Now, on the flip side, you can also tie in Braun in Millis. It's not in Medway. It's in Millis on Village Street. But even if it wasn't in Millis and it was only in Medway, you can still tie in. There are no boundaries. Medway can't charge us for tying in. It all goes to the same place. So, either place has sewer. That's that piece. Now another piece, sewer capacity. We've been hearing about we're out of sewer capacity. I know, again, they gave me all the boring stuff to talk about, but here I am. Sewer capacity. So, as many of you know, I started going to the Charles River Pollution Control meetings. I go once a month. I've been going for 4 years. And as many of you know, if you follow us, we created a sewer policy. I don't know how many, maybe 3 years ago,
Probably close to
something like
4.
that.
Yeah.
So we have a policy. Jim's here. He's on the commission. He's on the committee. Right now, at this exact moment, Charles River Pollution Control has Millis at 72% of its capacity. That is actual capacity. 72% of 628,000 gallons. That's our contract with Charles River. We get a capacity total of 628,000. We're at 72%. When I say actual, this is the tricky part, and I know some people don't like it, but it is what it is. Actual means 55 gallons per bedroom. 55 gallons is what we use per bedroom.
That's based on measurements that come out of our town.
Yes, and Charles River uses that number. But there's another number that's a little bit tricky. It's called the maximum number. The maximum number is double that. It's 110 gallons. Charles River uses that number for planning and building. I'm going to explain that. If you're building a house, and you're building a house with 4 bedrooms, your pipes and your discharge, everything is based on 110 gallons, not the actual 55 that it's going to be. Why? This is the way I describe it. Kind of funny. You have a 4-bedroom house. Typically, I have a 4-bedroom house. I live alone with a cat. Typically, in a 4-bedroom house, there's not 4 bedrooms going all the time. But on Thanksgiving, you have a house full. And your sewer capacity has to be sized to handle Thanksgiving. But Thanksgiving doesn't happen every day. That's why the 110 that you piped and planned and built reduces to 55 as soon as your house is built and you're now paying your sewer bill and Charles River is calculating it. So, if you use the 55 number and you count in everybody that's on it right now, everybody that's paid a betterment, all of the subdivisions that are proposed and have gotten a sewer permit from us, which includes Tresca, by the way, it includes Tresca. If you add in the 5% that we decided as a board to hold, and you've got all the betterment people, and you put them all in, we have like 6 subdivisions, I'm not gonna name them to bore you. We are under the 628,000 gallons by 78. We have enough sewer capacity for this project and other projects. And I wanna say one other thing. We have been negotiating now for almost 3 years that, Erin, you're leading that charge. You can pick it up.
We are negotiating with the town of Franklin to purchase additional sewer capacity. So I've been to 2 meetings so far. We've got another one planned in the near future to see what we can do to increase our sewer capacity in town. Again, we have enough capacity for what we're doing right now, but we would, of course, like to have additional capacity for future projects and not be close to our capacity. So that's something that we've been investigating, and we're just trying to take the proactive approach with it.
Right, but it's looking good, I thought.
Mhm.
Yeah,
It's looking good.
It basically came down to, when the plant was built, Franklin bought a lot more capacity than Millis, and they didn't need as much as they bought, and we should have bought more.
Right,
But
right.
we have the opportunity to rectify that.
Right. I have one other thing. I know a lot of people don't, or a lot of people think that there are other parcels in Millis that we can use. We should research more. Okay. You're the town report person, so you know, right?
Why don't I take a moment, and we'll let Ellen calm down, and we'll
Right.
move on to wildlife.
Okay,
So,
do wildlife.
A palate cleanser. I looked at the Open Space and Recreation Plan. This is about a 300-page book. I was at work, I printed the cover and one pertinent page. But it's a nice book, you should read it. It looks almost as nice as our town report. It's very, very informative. Of course, I didn't highlight right, the important part. So it tells you about everything about the land, all the town, all the open space we have. So basically right now, Millis has a very large amount of undevelopable land. There are 7,872 acres of land in Millis, and 2,519 are conservation restricted or otherwise protected. So right now, the town owns 411 acres of protected land, formally protected. That's land, the Cassidy Field, there's actually a map that shows them all. Nobody will read that. But on the Cassidy Field, there's a line that goes right down the middle of it. Protected, not protected. So it's black and white in this book that was written in 2021. So it's pretty current for town standards, very current. But 2021 plan, line right down the middle of Cassidy, protected, unprotected, which goes back to my first point. But then also there is 1,419 acres of privately owned land in conservation easements. Now, the only other job I've had in my life besides the YMCA and working on a loading dock for a bit was at the Trustees of Reservations. Conservation protected means it can never be built. Tangerini's Farm is in that. There's some land on Plain Street as you're heading near Roach Brothers, back in that area. That's all conservation protected. There's a lot of conservation protected land. It can be used for whatever you want, except you can never build on it. People can hay it, people can play on it, people can own it, it can be used, but it can't ever be built. And then the Army Corps of Engineers owns another 689 acres. So that works out to 32% of Millis is absolutely unbuildable. Actually, it's 31.99949, but I don't want to be accused of lying and rounding wrong, so it is 32%. The other pieces are population density. As you look around here, our population density is 696 people per square mile. Again, refer to the town report. Phenomenal book. Found it on page 2. Medway has a population density of 1,136, about twice ours. Medfield is 1,348. Franklin is a little better, it's 1,100. Norfolk is quite close with 705 people, but we're still below their density. Only Dover and Sherburne have less. Dover has 362 and Sherburne is 275 people per square mile. So there's a lot of open space and undeveloped and land that's available in Millis that's not built on.
It won't be.
And it can't be, and never can be. The thing is, and this, I did get a comment or a call on this one, or a comment on this. We listed this as discussing housing. And people are saying, well, no, we're talking about land transfer. We see this as a housing need. Land transfer is just how we get there. We need housing in this town. I would love to see it built on a parcel of land we don't own. Now, people say Ann and Hope. Ann and Hope is one of our dreams and, dare I say, hopes, to be a commercial site. When we did the MBTA zoning, we purposely didn't designate it housing because we see that as our future commercial base because people want more commercial taxes. So Ann and Hope's out. The Brownfield site, GAF, highly unlikely that will ever be built by anybody, and Ellen's got more research on that, so I'm not going to step on it. But the only land we've got is these 2 parcels. I mean, that's it. So if we're talking about housing, and we don't want it on Braun, and we don't want it on Cassidy, we really don't want housing, because there's not another place we can do it. Our state reps will talk a good game about helping us out, but they can never compel GAF to clean that site to the level to accommodate housing. They can ask them to, they can support our request that they do, but they can't be compelled. And I really don't want Ann and Hope to be developed into housing, because I want it developed at least on the first floor. Maybe second and third floor could be housing, but the first floor would be lovely for commercial.
It's all
And-
occupied.
Well,
in
and currently it's occupied.
Yeah.
So it can't be developed now, but it could be sold and something could be done. But I'm hoping it turns into a nice commercial property. But anyway, that's the way I see it. This is an issue about housing, and land is just the mechanism to get there. And these are the only 2 feasible parcels, with 32% of our land, 31.99947 or whatever, percent of our land absolutely forever undevelopable. So that's it. That's what we got.
I had, I did want to research under every nook and cranny. I spoke to the owner of Ann and Hope. He's a lovely gentleman. His name is Sam, oh my God, I'll think of it.
Chase.
Sam Chase. He's 90 years old, and I'm hopeful that he's going to come to the reopening of the train station. So I'll introduce him, and you can all attack him and say, hey,
Politely attack him.
polite, he's 90, people, he's 90, he is sharp as a tack. He is practically fully tenanted. So he has income, and God love him, he told me what he was getting, and it's not industrial, it's not $2 or $3 a foot. He's making a good income, and it's not for sale. It was for sale at one time, like 10, 15 years ago, for millions, like 17 or $20 million. It's not even for sale. So that's not on the docket. I researched GAF as much as I could, and what I could find was, I could find some DEP documents that tie to GAF. They're in a monitoring phase. First of all, GAF has more problems than PFAS. They have oil, and I mean, they made tar, right? It's oil, it's gas. So they're in a monitoring phase, which, believe it or not, I don't know if it's a 100-year monitoring phase or a 10-year, that they call natural attenuation. So it lets the contaminants go through the soil and naturally become cleaner. And that's where they are right now. So if GAF, a multinational company, corporation, with the billions of dollars that they have, can't clean up their site or doesn't want to, we certainly are not in a position to purchase it and clean it up. Also, there was a mention at some point about eminent domain. Why don't we just take something and we can build housing on it? So interestingly, I found an incredible article on 4.8 million that Massachusetts is paying to the abutters of the Sagamore Bridge to take their land. Interesting, they're taking their land, not to build the bridge, they're taking their land to put their materials, right?
Yeah, construction yards.
Yeah, and they're taking it. And the most interesting thing about the article was they're paying, when you take by eminent domain, you pay market rent. You pay. You don't just take it and, oh, I got this. Interesting in the article, they're paying over market. Why? I'll tell you why. Because you can sue. Anybody who gets taken a piece of land by eminent domain, the first thing you do is sue, and you say, that's not market. And you tie it up for 10 years. So they're offering above market rent, so rates. So that's interesting. Again, we're researching everything available, but I do have one thing I want to share. I spent 2 hours at the Braun property last Thursday morning. I met an asbestos company out there. We've been kind of waiting for the fire department to burn it down, the chicken coop. And I just found
As a
out.
controlled burn training, not anything else.
The old chicken.
I just wanted to drop a
Clarity
match,
to
but,
be out there.
but they wouldn't let me. But then I found out that they can't do anything until we have it inspected for asbestos. I met an asbestos guy out there, 2 hours at that property, and I'm going to tell you this about that. First of all, it's very difficult to get to because there's a stone wall in front of it, left to right. There's no way to get in. You can't just get in and park and go walk the property. You have to go across the street and park in the old garage. If anybody remembers Ira Tucker, it's his garage. You can park there, you can walk across Village Street, climb over the stone wall, get through the briars, the prickers, the attack plants, crawl over the hollowed out tractor and the blades and the tires, get to the, this is an image, right? This is why we think it's so terrible. Get to the chicken coop, take a left, go behind it, and I'm going to say this about that. There's a gorgeous piece of land behind that chicken coop. It's a meadow, and it's beautiful. And it abuts in the back to a piece of conservation land that we have that has a parking lot and trails. So anybody that thinks that I have made up my mind about these properties is wrong, because we are going to get that report. I don't really think there's asbestos in there. If any, there's not much, because it's anything that would have been there on pipes would have already fallen in. It didn't look, you just didn't see asbestos everywhere, and I know what it looks like. We'll take the building down and open it up, remove all the stuff because it's awful, and take a look at that property, because it's beautiful. It's beautiful. If you have a chance, go there, park in the thing, ba-doop, 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 wear your boots, hike around, and take a look, and do the same with Cassidy, and familiarize yourself, because it's going to be quite nice. I think that's all I got.
I think that was the bulk of it.
Maybe the property values. I did call Medway. Somebody mentioned that the property values are going to go down to abutting properties if this goes in. I called Medway. I talked to Barbara St. Andre. She's the economic development person in Medway. And I asked about the abutters to the Metro West project, which is a 40B. And she checked with the assessor and confirmed that no abutting properties valuations went down when that project came online.
Okay, thank you. So we went through, we tried to answer as specifically as we could, as many questions as we had notes on. You know, the only other thing, I think I had a note on a question about future expansion for schools or police or fire. You know, in terms of schools, built into the planning for the schools is future expansion within Clyde Brown, within the campus for the middle high school. So, I mean.
But this project wouldn't require any of that.
Right, yeah, this project wouldn't require any of that. Let's see. Yeah, so I think for the most part, we covered as much as we could at this point. What I'd like to do at this point is just take some more questions, more comments. We'll see what we can answer on the fly here if there's more questions. Otherwise, we will follow up again. I just wanted to reiterate that this isn't the end of our discussion. This is still just the beginning, right? Nothing's happening right now. Town meeting is next week. This is not up for discussion at town meeting. We will have we meet less frequently during the summer, so and people go on vacation. It's not like we're going to have big conversations about this at select board meetings over the summer and spring it on people or not have people available to discuss it. So we'll pick this up when people are available. What do you think? Maybe more like a September timeframe, start having more discussions?
I think
Oh,
September is when we'll
Candace?
bring it up again, yeah.
Just one last
Yes.
comment. We actually will continue to have meetings on the affordable housing, the nature of the project, answer these questions. This will go through the summer. We'll
You'll have
provide that
forums?
to the town. Yep, so
Okay.
we'll have forums where everybody is welcome to come and ask any questions that they'd like. We'll be doing presentations. I know I actually asked to go to the COA to do a presentation. That's possibly in the works, but we will be available. So we encourage and we'll provide the information for anyone to come and ask these relevant questions to get more familiar with what we're
Okay,
doing.
you just need to make sure that you send everything to Karen.
Yep. Yeah, so we can get on the website.
post every
Karen, it
single-
is.
Yes, because.
Yeah, and we'll
yes.
share that out widely as well. Yeah.
Yep, absolutely. And we encourage, like I said, we encourage everyone to attend and ask any questions that they might
Do you have anything on in the works right now?
For right now, we actually have some neighbors who have reached out to have group meetings. So they're more related to those kind of neighborhood meetings. So it's not anything we've done publicly, but as soon as I know, I'll give it to Karen and we can post it.
Yeah.
Thank
And-
you.
and
Oh,
we-
and
yeah.
actually, yes, so we'll have some things at the Housing Authority too.
Okay,
So
great.
keep your eyes posted.
Yeah, and we won't be meeting, again, as Aaron said, this won't be an agenda item that is going to have any action taken. There might be a discussion
Discussion,
if Candace has
right.
something to say, or decides she needs to present. But nothing extensive, nothing formal, certainly no votes to select a property over the summer, because that's just the wrong time to do anything of importance.
Right. Scott?
Scott Fusey, 411 Union. I won't talk as long as Ellen, but I got very educated, Ellen, thank you. The water and sewer issues are gonna be addressed no matter what site you pick out. I'll take Glen Ellen. When they built Glen Ellen, they wanted a package treatment plant. They went from Glen Ellen all the way down Orchard Street to Middlesex Street to run sewerage. The development he's talking about tonight, Dan, they're gonna have to address water and sewer issues there. Those things will get addressed. And that's just no matter what site you take, and everything else will get addressed. That's basically what I want to say. I hear those concerns, I understand those concerns, but it's an important project, and everything works itself out. So, thank you.
Thanks, Scott.
Hi, Amy Fagan, Timberline Road. I just had two questions.
Okay.
One is does the town have a projection or a goal of population growth? Because I know we've talked about there's not enough, we need more, and, the motto is, small town, big family. So does the goal actually have, or does the town actually have a goal to increase the population?
I think that, and I looked this up just a little while ago, there's a lot of people who think that we're a declining town, because in 2019, pre-pandemic, all projections said Millis was going to stay flat or get smaller. We're one of the fastest growing towns in the Commonwealth. I believe the last 3 years, it's been more than 2.5% a year. I think it's 15% since 2020 census. Don't hold me to that number, but it's close to that. I've got it written someplace. So while we may or may not have a projection, a desire for growth, our desire has very little to do with it. The only housing the town is talking about building is 45 units of one-bedroom housing. The rest of it's all private developer. And if they own the land and it meets the requirements, the planning board can't stop them and we can't stop them, as much as somebody might want to, but that's what it comes down to. So I'd say that I think our projection now is that we're going to be one of the faster growing towns in the area for many more years, because we're pretty much the last affordable. And affordable, according to the Boston Globe, is home values under $750,000. So that's who we are now.
Don't know how many people can afford that. The second question you touched on, Craig, was actually probably to Candace.
Into the microphone, please.
Yeah, sorry. In prior meetings, I think it was mentioned that it was going to be like senior and disabled, but also some family units, because that was a crisis as well. So is that going to be included in either one of the properties?
So Metro West is actually doing mixed
Candace, I can, yeah.
Let me just, I'll come
Yeah.
up here.
Metro West Metro West is on the warrant for the next town meeting, not town land, it's privately owned land,
Right.
but there's a contribution, I won't get into all that.
Right.
But that's on the warrant for the next meeting, and go ahead,
And they're gonna have mixed
into
population.
the microphone.
So that'll be mixed population, that'll include families, and that'll include, they'll have some units for that, that'll accommodate it. And the hope for us to keep this property that we're looking at focused on elderly and non-elderly disabled is to also help free up some of the homes within the community that most people are holding on to because they just can't afford really to go anywhere else. And this might allow them to transition into affordable housing and then open those homes up for younger families. That's the hope.
We saw a nice relationship between the two projects, between Metro
Right.
West and Millis Housing. We thought it
Yeah.
was a nice combination.
Paul Simpson, 52 Island Road. Just a couple questions and maybe some clarification. So Craig, I have Article 17 in front of me too. I assume we're referring to the same article.
Yep.
And the last paragraph, I'll just read it. By rising count, yes, 302, no, 63, it was voted to authorize the Board of Selectmen on such terms and conditions as the Selectmen may determine to acquire all of or a portion of the fee ownership interest in the following property by gift or purchase for general municipal purposes and for the purposes of conveyance or eminent domain, for the purposes of open space preservation, construction of recreation, fields, buildings, or facilities, and associated parking areas, for the purposes of conveyance property known as Cassidy land. So the vote was taken on everything, wasn't it, in
I
this,
think the
not
key-
just,
I think the key point is Article 18, immediately following that, says to see if the town will vote to purchase for park purposes the land known as Cassidy Farm located at 431 Exchange Street, Millis, blah, 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 using funds, Chapter 40. And that would be to take it only for conservation or parks land at the time is what it was called. And that was defeated. So there was a clear choice between whatever you want to use it for and only parks. And the town picked the laundry basket of whatever you want to use it for. And that's generic language. Take it for preservation, construction of recreational fields, buildings or facilities, and associated parking area, construction of municipal buildings, municipal parking areas for the purpose of conveyance. That's just generic. The town's going to take the land and use it for whatever the town decides it's going to use the land for. The next article, which was dismissed, defeated, would have made it only for parks. So that's when you read the two, one after the other, you can see there was the desire to do something other than just parks with it. So yeah, it could have been used for all open space. And in fact, when we came back in Article 3 in November, we did designate a certain amount of it for open space, but we purposely left the remainder undesignated. So, because it says that, right here on this part, it says, blah, 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 self-help projects area proposed grant, the self-help grant and the determination of the board, the determination by the Board of Selectmen that said portion is not needed for general municipal purposes. By designating that parcel as not needed for general municipal purposes, it's implied that the other parcel is needed for general municipal purposes. I mean, they clearly called out one parcel. Yeah.
A plan was, Paul, a plan was prepared by Wayne Carlson. It's on, it's in with all the information that designates the sections. The Highland, where we're talking, the intersection, is for municipal purpose, and the rest of it's conservation, open space, and
Yeah, but by the
You can see the
sequencing of the votes, 3 votes in a row addressed the Cassidy property, 2 at the same town meeting, and then 1 the immediately following town meeting. And each one of them clearly carved out a portion for general municipal use.
the deed is, the
Yeah.
deed's on there too. You can
Yeah.
see the deed says it too.
okay.
2 different deeds.
Okay, so this is what, 28 years later, and, I know town council opined at the April 6th meeting that this was, public housing was a allowable municipal use. I think there should be a written opinion on that, not just an opining, because opining for like 30 seconds doesn't include the underlying facts to the law that would support this. That's a.
Yeah, I mean, I certainly can ask him about that, but at this point, I think that, and I know it was 28 years ago, but laws that were passed 28 years ago affect me today. And this was, and it can always be changed by a town meeting vote if another select board or somebody else wants to throw it all into protected status. But you can't go back and argue that in 98 they wanted it to be protected land. They absolutely did not want it to be protected in 98.
And to follow that a little
Okay,
bit.
well, none of it
Yeah.
originally.
Yes.
And to
Yeah.
follow that a little bit, I think there's something else we could discuss, whether it's Braun, whether it's Cassidy. We're talking a piece of it for this housing purpose, right? There's still going to be more of the
There's gonna be
land.
30, so,
that
yeah,
we
we're
could
talking
still
like what,
talk about
4.5 or
protecting.
5 acres?
Right.
38?
All right, so, as I've said before, and this is probably true for Braun too, I'm not as familiar with Braun, but I'm certainly familiar with Cassidy. That whole property, not just the protected part, but the unprotected part, supports a whole ecosystem. Wildlife, like on and on and on. There's aquifers that run through there, there's underground streams. It doesn't matter whether it's 2 acres or 40 acres. Once you disturb that land, you've disturbed everything there and you've affected it. So I think that's just something you all need to consider and keep in mind. I'll move on. The site evaluation and wetland study, that was completed 2 years ago. It was posted to the website. That was great. But there's never been any professional readout about that. So
We
I
can
would.
schedule that in September. We can schedule somebody to review that as part of our process.
To bring the company in that did it, because they'd
Or
be the
a
experts.
company that can interpret it.
What
Yeah.
are you, I'm sorry, Paul, what are you looking for?
To have the company that did actually the wetlands evaluation come in and present their findings, so that, interested people could ask their questions and just get an objective summary of it. I mean, they're the ones who did it, they should be the experts, right?
I think it's reasonable to have somebody come in.
Yeah, I think that would be a reasonable,
I have no idea.
yeah.
But yeah.
Okay. And just about the upfront due diligence for this. So I've said this before. I would think that an independent analysis should be done with all this prior to the land transfer. I mean, I know the Millis Housing Authority will disagree with this, but I've seen some things that.
No, it's going to,
But, yeah.
what are you looking for to be done prior to the land transfer?
Like, what do you mean exactly by that?
All these questions.
It is going to be
study.
done, Paul. We talked about that. So there's not going to be a land transfer. If this goes, when this goes, whatever, to town meeting, and it's put to a vote, and if Cassidy or Braun gets voted, there will be no land transfer. There will be a contract with 1 million contingencies. There will be no land transfer for 3 or 4 years until everything's worked out. The wetlands, everybody agrees.
And if it's
The
clearly
size
wet,
of the-
it won't be transferred. I mean,
Site eligibility.
it'll
All
meet
the
site
due
eligibility,
diligence
yeah.
is going to be done before a land transfer.
And site eligibility can include the sewer hookup, the wetlands, any other considerations that we have to look at.
Everything, just like when you buy a house, you get 30 or 60 days to do your due diligence. This is going to be 3 or 4 years, because whoever gets this RFP, this is one thing I wanted to correct from town council. He's going to kill me, but I don't care, he's not watching. This is not going to be 6 months. He mentioned in 2 months you'll be in front of the planning board, and then you're going to have a permit. It takes 2 to 3 years for a developer to get their funding. And they can't move forward without all their pockets of money. I didn't even understand this, but it's money out there. They go to the federal government, they go to the state, they go to this. It's all different pockets. And they put the whole thing together to be able to build this. This developer that wins this contract, he doesn't have any money. It's just like you, if you're going to buy a house, you go to a bank. He's going to 100 of them to get this special money just for this. And so I don't know if you were at any of the Metro West meetings,
Yes,
But
I was at one of them.
remember, they said they weren't gonna put a shovel in the ground till 2029. It's the same process. It's different housing, but it's the same slog process. And everything gets worked out, and you get to go to all the meetings and speak your mind.
All right, just a couple other points. So again, Craig, you mentioned there was some back and forth about the naming of what this was called tonight. I was the one you were commenting with. So my point is that I don't care whether it was called Millis Housing Discussion or Cassidy Land, not Cassidy, but the land transfer. The previous two meetings were called, land transfer discussion for Cassidy and Braun. So when this gets put out there that it's Millis Housing Discussion, my only point was, I probably would have caused a lot of confusion, and it would have been better just to name it what it was. That was my point.
Well, I agree with, okay, well, first off, I'm going to do a giant cop-out. I don't write the agenda.
It's my fault. It's my fault, my
But
bad.
I don't
Oh my
disagree with her at
God.
all.
Are you-
I'm not even blaming you.
It's my fault.
I'm just saying that the only way we're getting housing is a land transfer, as I said. If you see the word housing or land transfer, there's a decent shot, we're talking, unless it says land transfer of something. Something else. There's a decent shot it's going to be talking about one of these two parcels. So we can make it clearer, but and it's just my blinders. I see this as not us transferring land. I mean, transferring the land in your backyard is not why we're here. We're here to provide housing for other people. So it's not, the goal isn't to transfer land. I'd love to do it without being able to do that and put it someplace where everybody agrees. We just don't have it. So this is to provide housing. But yeah, I will try to be clear.
But why don't
Yeah.
why don't we try to make a mental note that
Call
next
it the
time we
same
talk
thing.
about
Yeah,
this,
and-
we'll just try to.
And I wasn't trying to be difficult. I wasn't trying to be, I wasn't angry. I was just.
No,
Yeah.
and I'm just trying to say that it was an innocent mistake.
It's a fair
and-
point. It's a fair
and,
point.
yeah.
It was my fault. I put the agenda item on. I said, oh, we'll have a Millis housing discussion, so I apologize. But
Okay,
yeah, it was
okay, yeah.
yeah.
And my one last comment about the water tables. So I would beg to differ that water tables don't shift when there's construction done, because we've lived through it. There was building next to us, the water table shifted, it got even wetter. And I'm not up here to complain about it, it comes with the territory, but we don't have to Google it. It happens, it's a fact.
Okay.
Thank you.
Paul, to your point, I'm going to respectfully disagree with you, but I appreciate your comments.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, Andrew Manning, 12J William Heights. I just want to reiterate the last gentleman's comment too. I've been involved in following this process, and when I saw the meeting agenda tonight, I was confused that this was what we were talking about.
Apologies.
I think you can tell by the crowd that it's confusing because you've had a packed
Because we have
house
much
the
less
past
people.
few
Yep.
meetings.
Mhm.
My first comment, you started the meeting, and I am the gentleman who's been talking about the 5.7%. That is stating where we are now and ignoring 3 major projects that are from Bob Weiss, going to happen within the next 3 years. That's 114 Union Street, 1178 Main Street, and Cobble Knoll are not included in that 5.7%. Also not included and so if those 3 projects go forward, which they have 40Bs in place,
But they're not
So let me,
built.
hold on.
they're not built,
Let-
but they're going.
Let me
Bob
tell you
Weiss
this
is
part,
saying they're
though.
going to.
So that part aside, right? Let's put that percentage aside for now. As far as I'm personally concerned, this project is completely separate to that. So this project technically is going to contribute to that number, which is great, but I don't care about that number. I care about this housing. I
So
care about,
1178 Main we're voting on that, and that's going to have 30%.
which is great. It's going to add, that's going to add to our
gonna help,
housing
yeah.
stock as well. But I care about the elderly and non-elderly disabled affordable housing that we're trying to add for the people of Millis.
That's fine, and that's your personal prerogative. I
Right.
can tell this board in general has that same prerogative. But to sit here in front of Millis residents and to say simply we're at 5.7, to me is untruthful. You're ignoring projects that are going forward.
They are not, first of all, 114 Union Street has been going to be built for 10 years. I don't know if it's going to be built. There's nothing that tells me there's ever going to be a shovel in that ground. That's 94 units. You don't count those. You can't count one unit that's not built and occupancies and given to the state. You
Then
just
why is
can't.
Bob Weiss
And you
indicating
put
that they're
in-
moving forward?
And you added some in there that haven't even come before us. You added Bridge Street.
34 Bridge has a comprehensive 40B
Bridge Street-
proposed to the town.
Proposed, it hasn't come and been accepted.
It doesn't, it's going through zoning. It's 40B bypasses our town.
It doesn't,
bylaws.
listen, I appreciate, I really do.
I'm not making this up. This is
I
Bob Weiss.
understand, but
This
it
is Bob-
doesn't-
I'm not
Bob
I'm not
Weiss has been,
Googling
I mean,
this.
I've known Bob for a long time, great guy, very, very optimistic. He's been talking about these things coming online for
Ever,
years.
yeah.
I mean, ever since they were proposed. I mean, and I can't fault him, he's a
Well,
housing
you look
proponent.
at, go
Yeah.
look at the sites though. One is fenced, one has bulldozers, that they're doing something, so.
I
it's-
understand, but do you, listen,
No, I do.
I don't want to pick. They
The-
need to
the
be
state-
built, constructed, occupancies, and then the state reviews it.
Yes, I know, but we
None
can
of
make
those-
progress, and we can go to the safe harbor. We haven't addressed that. Like, we asked the
Well,
lawyer.
doesn't
in-
work
in-
that
In 5 years, when we get those built, maybe we hit safe harbor, but that still, as Aaron
But you
said,
won't.
doesn't diminish the need
Right.
for 48 seniors or non-senior adults with disabilities who need housing. And that's, if we were at 100%, if we were at safe harbor, I'd still be advocating for this.
That's the.
I would
Right,
still
that's
be
what I was
advocating
trying
for
to
this.
say. Thank you.
Yeah.
And that's your guys' opinion.
I get
that.
What I
Yeah,
see
yeah.
is you have made your mind, and there's been a lot of people speaking out this project. There
Well-
are some people that take the view that that land is beautiful, and I'm right there. I coach soccer, and I see the sunset going over Cassidy. That is beautiful to me, and to throw a development, whether it's affordable or whatever,
So the
call me
issue
an
is
ass
the
for not doing it,
location,
but I
not,
think it's beautiful.
the issue is the location, not that you don't want to build affordable housing. I get that.
Correct.
Yeah,
Yes.
but
All
I'm
of
saying
those
that,
developments I
I'm
just
saying the
listed
only,
off, I think are great locations.
the only viable locations for us to build are two beautiful locations.
I know,
That's it.
but
Yeah.
viable, and if these projects go forward, if we hit the 10.2, that eliminates the state requirement.
I
Acknowledging
don't
that or
care about the
ignoring
state
that is-
requirement
It's
for the
not-
40B. I mean, I'm looking to house senior adults who have
But to
little or
not
no
tell-
income.
To just say we're at 5.7 and not
We are
say
currently,
to-
I'm going to just say, listen, you're.
Like, I
you're
can't,
great.
I
It
cannot
doesn't
say
work.
we're over 5.7 because
doesn't
we're
work.
not
You
yet.
ignore the fact that there's 40 Bs
But
in
you stood up
place.
there a couple of weeks ago, and you said you said we are at 10.2% as according to
No,
my
no, no, we're at
calculation.
5.7.
No, you said we're at 10.2.
If this is Bob Weiss.
If.
114 Union Street, 1178 Main Street, Cobble Knoll, if all three of those go through, we get to
If.
10.2%.
Right, right.
If.
Madam Chair, if I may,
Yes.
just because Mr. Weiss isn't here to
Yes, yes,
speak
go
to
ahead,
his,
go
so I
ahead.
will do
Yep,
my best
thank you.
to sub in for Mr. Weiss in this
Yes.
area. But a major part of his job is to let the board and let the public know what's in the general pipeline, what's been applied, initiated, or looked into. Those three projects are in that pipeline, but as you've said, there are no guarantees that any of those are going through. The project that you referenced about work being done, well, that project's been stopped because a lot of that work was being done without the proper permits and authorization. Bridge Street. Another project, as was mentioned, has issues. I think I'll speak to Herman Schuh, has issues with contamination they're trying to work through with the DEP and get their financing. That's very much a question mark whether that'll go forward. So I think maybe, Mr. Weiss's comments were interpreted differently, but he was saying that if all these were to come to fruition, which is a big if, then we could come up close to 10%. But you have to remember that that's always a moving target. As one of the fastest growing communities in the Commonwealth, that percentage will have to, the number of housing as part of that percentage will have to go up because as our general population goes up. So it's a moving number, and you don't want to be right at 10%. You want to be closer to 11, a little over 11, like many of our neighboring communities are. And at that point, the town controls the process. You can opt for 40Bs that are friendly, that are good for the community, and you can reject ones that are not. Right now, we are at the whim of these developers as long as they meet the bare minimum standards of the state. So there are a lot of ifs at this point. And, I mean, comparatively, this is a pretty small project for that one we're discussing this evening, 45 units. Yes, you know, we've had more than 500 units built in this town in the past 7 or 8 years, and we may have many more. That's up to the open market, but at this point, we cannot count it more than the 5.7%. We just don't know. Now, may it happen in 5 years, 7 years? It might, but we can't tell the state, oh, we're not approving anymore because these other ones might come to fruition. There might be an opportunity to go into safe harbor in the next year or two. We're constantly looking at that. I speak with Bob about that at least every couple of months. We talk about that, where we are, what the future might hold for that. And when we think we have an avenue to apply for safe harbor, we do. But again, those numbers have been a moving target.
Yeah, I'd like to have that control. I think that's a positive, for sure.
Yeah, and honestly, my opinion is as there's the big developments that have been developed, and, you know, I see the housing plan has kicked off, and I think I was driving at that, and my research had told me that unless you have that in place, there is no conversation with the state. And as those have turned on, if you make 1 to 2% increments, you can have control, and I think we might have missed a window there potentially. So that's my point with that.
Yeah. Well, I want to just real quickly say, I don't disagree. I'd love to be in safe harbor because I would rather not do a lot of the 40Bs that we have no control over. I'd like to have that be more of a proactive thing. So I'm not in favor of just unbridled development of 40Bs. I'd like to see that controlled, and safe harbor gives us that control. But that would still leave me to find a place in Millis to build this, is what I would stick with. Yeah.
The second piece, there was a lot of talk about just Millis residents and not doing the CHAMP. I would like to see that format in writing from the Housing Authority so we can review that and actually see it. To just verbally come up here and say, this is what's going to happen, looking at other towns and issues that have come up, I would like to see that published and out to the public so that we can see.
It's on our website, and it was in tonight's packet, a letter from the Housing Authority saying, may I quote you?
It's not on the website yet. We're putting it
okay.
on, I figured once you
There's a
spoke about
source
it
of
tonight, that we would put
confusion.
it on.
There's a source of confusion included in the CHAMP, Millis local, okay, go ahead. What part should I read?
Can we see it?
Yeah. But that was in our packet today.
It says that the RFP process includes parameters set by the Millis Housing Authority. The 9,000-plus applicants on the CHAMP wait list, which has caused confusion, represents the total number of people across Massachusetts that have chosen Millis State Public Housing. 94 of those 9,000 are Millis residents. This RFP will require that these units be reserved for local preference, which includes veterans, and will not be subject to CHAMP priorities. The RFP will also require that applicants be elderly, 60 years of age and over, or non-elderly disabled. There will be other avenues for Millis residents to apply for these units as well, one of which is an open application process.
And to me, that's still vague, so I would.
You can-
you
you
can-
can-
the
you
letter
can
can
comment,
comment,
You
but-
can get the details later. I mean, that comes forward, but that is very clear.
Yeah.
And it's in writing, and it's on
And
your
it's on the
town
letterhead.
website.
It's in, look in our package
It's been
tomorrow
overseen
when
by our
Karen
attorneys
posts
as
it.
well.
Well, it's in the packet. You can find
Yep.
it tonight,
Yeah.
in the
Absolutely.
packet on the website, but I'll
Yep.
post it on the homepage as well under the Braun and Cassidy
Yeah.
piece.
And
Correct.
then as far as I would like to also see formally the reduced taxes that it's been talked about, but what is the reduction? And we talked about all this isn't gonna impact town services. I think that's glazing over it. So I'd like to openly see what the reduction in taxes that this property would pay.
This property would pay taxes based on the rent that is generated by the units. And I don't know the number, Ellen might, but it's the same as any housing development would pay because it's a function of rent. The rents here are quite low, so the taxes would be quite low. But with 45 people living there, who it sounds like the majority of them are already getting police, fire, and ambulance support, it's just moving them all to one central location instead of driving all over town.
I disagree with that theory, but.
We can
you-
disagree
you
all we
can't-
want. I mean,
yeah,
I don't-
you
yeah.
can't just move people and it isn't gonna cost the town a dime.
It's
Like,
not gonna cost it any
that's-
more. I mean, we're not putting 45 more people into the town that need
So
housing.
sewer maintenance isn't gonna cost us more with a greatly reduced fee, like, That's a
Their
pipe dream, I
existing
think.
housing still exists, which will pay their old taxes, so this is a net increase of whatever, once I
I
move
said
them out
this,
their
I
house.
said this at every meeting, I'm gonna say it again, because it's the way I feel. These people, I hear that so much, I wanna puke. These people are our neighbors, our parents, our brothers and sisters, my classmates. These people have been in Millis practically their whole lives. Many of them have already moved from a home into Millis Housing. I was at Millis Housing a week ago. I was leaving. I bumped into a guy sitting in his car outside, and I recognized him. And sure enough, I knew him. I knew his father, actually, Henry Lewandowski. This was the son. His father was a select board member, way before me, way before my mother. He has lived in Millis almost his whole life. He's 86 years old. He came to apply for housing. He now lives in Medway. He had to move out of Millis. He couldn't afford it. And he just wanted to get on the list. And he wants to come back to Millis. He literally wants to die in Millis. He couldn't even get out of his car to talk to me because he's 86 years old or whatever. He and his family gave a lot to Millis. He wants to come back to Millis. He has every right to come back to Millis. And we talk about them as if, I don't know, as if they contributed to this town. They made this town. And they want to come back. And they living on a fixed income, which they only have to pay 30%. And the community that's there now is terrific. And how do we turn our backs on 45 units on 4.5 acres in Millis on the two pieces we own? I don't understand it.
I have two comments. So they would, Millis Housing Authority right now is 84 units, I believe, in town. So if we even get to our 10%, they would still control 20% of the affordable housing market. So there's that. I think there's also a piece of seniors that are currently in their houses that want to stay in their houses and not go. I would argue that this is not going to help their tax situation. It's the exact opposite.
I disagree.
You can disagree all you want, and we can,
It's okay.
and I'll listen to
don't
you,
talk.
pal. So
I'm sick and tired.
Scott.
it's rainbows and unicorns. So to say it's not going to cost folks in the long term, long run, for people that want to stay in their house, I think I think that's glazing over it. And I think if you're a senior and you want to stay in your houses and you're worried about your taxes going up, this should be a concern for you.
This
So
isn't going to
that's-
drive up taxes. I'll leave it at that, but it's not. I mean, we just added a police officer. One police officer, well, we haven't yet. If people vote for that police officer at town meeting, taxes aren't going up. We were able to squeeze a police officer. No Millis housing built, no new housing that you're talking about, those big units coming online. We needed one more police officer already, and we added him. And we did that without a tax increase. We wanted to add 3, but we didn't have enough funds for 3, so we added 1. So we have a need, but
We haven't built new housing since 1966. The units are not handicap accessible. They're second-floor units. They're making the best of it. It's been, we just approved something for a new school that also happened to be 1966. We're giving our students what they need. We need to give our elderly population what they need. That's all. We can, listen,
We
I
agree to
appreciate.
disagree.
We can agree to
and
disagree.
Listen, all I'm saying, we have there's the tech school that we don't have a plan in place, right? Tax impact.
well, we
Like-
do. We're funding the next 3 years of it, and every year we're going to keep putting money aside for it until we
But
have to start
eventually
cutting.
that
Yeah.
bubble's gonna burst, right? Like,
Maybe, it depends. I mean,
Probably.
This has been what people have asked us to do, and we're coming up with solutions.
Listen, it's a unique situation because we voted no, and it's
Well-
now here, but like, we don't have a plan in place.
that-
Well,
So
for 30
seniors who want to live in their
years that I've been
house,
doing
like-
this in town government, we've never had a plan that gets us more than 2 or 3 years out. We always solve it, we always
Yeah.
make it work. But anyway, this is not about the tech school. That could be a whole different
Yep.
argument.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Jim Duffy, 343 Exchange Street. I really should have brought my big notebook tonight. Couple of comments, couple of questions. First of all, can you explain, well, my first comment is, if you'd have given us all this grounding that you did tonight at the original,
Yeah.
would have been great, right? Because I
We
came
learned
away
a
from
lot.
that saying,
Yeah.
what was the plan? We had no plan. We asked for opinions, but there was no kind of grounding as to how we got here, right? Would have been helpful. It's called the sale, right? You gotta sell it. But why is the size difference in the two properties? One's 3, one's 6 or something? Can you explain
I
that?
think the size difference is because in the Braun property, there's a long entrance. What'd I say?
There's a long driveway.
There's a
Yeah.
super, super long driveway to get to it.
So it's set back.
Yes.
To get to where it's dry, to be
So
able to build.
it's more land.
Okay, that's great. Families were definitely mentioned in discussions beforehand for this. It sounds like not, which comes to,
Well, that was before Metro West came in. We feel now, you feel now, as if they're more complementary. If Metro West does the family thing, and she can pick up the elderly and non-elderly disabled.
okay. Gets to the point of, I want to vote for a contract, not necessarily a parcel of land to get transferred, right? To your point, there's a contract, there's a deal of which a parcel is part of that, right?
Utilized.
Right? The thing that sort of ticked me off is you guys are going to decide on what parcel, not the townspeople. What's the criteria by which you guys will make that decision? My personal opinion is you ought to have a ballot question that says, would you prefer to transfer Cassidy or Braun? Speaking from a taxpayer perspective, a townpayer's perspective. The comment of a lot of open land left gets lost when you plop a big building right on the very corner that blocks all the view to the nice open land out behind it versus something much set back off the road type of thing, right? As a criteria for what parcel would we prefer to convey at some point down the line. There was discussion about walkers. I happen to live across from Kennedy. I know 3 walkers, Scott, Flo, and Johnny. And that's about it, right? So if location's a concern, you know, there's already shuttles. So I think that's a non-issue personally. Ron, why limit this to 45 units? If it, why in general is this limited to 45 versus
We talked
something
about that a
longer?
lot. This appears to be the sweet spot for developers. This is the.
You need a
But
developer.
2
to
times
build it.
45 is still a sweet spot for
No,
2
it's,
developers.
it's
isn't it?
not.
The
No.
developers know more about what they can develop than I do, maybe not more than Ellen. But if they're telling me that 45 is what they can manage, rent, and do, maybe 10 years later, if you do Braun and it's a larger property, you could come back for more. But at this point, 45 is the number that really seems to resonate with builders. I mean, the one going in at the Metro West one is 48, so it's in that ballpark. They're very close.
It seems to be.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And Medway was 48, I believe, or, yeah, 45.
I'm hung up on, we've spent $1 million to give it away
You keep
versus,
saying, give it away. We're not giving it away. We're reserving it for Millis housing. It's 4 maybe acres of 36.
I understand.
So it's not $1 million, and it's not giving it away as if there's no value. That's my craw. You have yours?
Right.
That's mine.
If the state can spend tens of millions to develop something, why can't we get reimbursed? for
We're
the
not
land
paying
what-
for this. You know that, right?
Absolutely, but.
Oh, you mean for the
giving-
million?
For the land, right?
Okay.
Why does this have to be a conveyance or a?
Because that's the way I know, I agree with you, but that's the process, Jim. We can't change it.
If 45 Millis residents move in, there's now larger homes, more bedrooms that will get filled behind them that no one has talked about that would potentially create demand on town resources. Right? So let's not lose track of that. It's not these people we're talking about. It's the people behind them that
Yes.
absolutely have that impact, right?
Yes, which helps with the the people that were complaining about the school population getting smaller. Yes, it's a natural progression. Towns go through this ebb and flow, right? New families come in and build the town with their children, and
Well, I get it,
the
but it's
natural-
all been said, these aren't going to, these people
No,
aren't
we-
going to impact town resources, right? That might be the case, but what comes in behind them may, in fact, likely to impact.
My mother-in-law, who passed away, her house is empty, and my son's planning to move in there and start a family. I mean, should we have bulldozed the house? I mean, that's the way it works. A house becomes available when an 80-year-old, 85-year-old passes away, or moves out, or moves to Kennedy Terrace, or moves wherever they move, the next house is going to be filled. That is a progression.
No, I
Understood.
see what,
Yeah,
I
it's
see
not
what
a
you're
bad
saying, though.
progression.
I'm not saying-
No, I got you.
I'm not saying it's not.
Yeah,
Right,
Yeah,
yes.
we're
But what's
aware.
the im-
Yeah.
but what's the impact, and how do we?
yeah.
I'll use the word
Mitigate?
yeah, mitigate, right? That
Yeah.
impact, right?
Yeah.
Never mind, I'm not gonna say it.
Okay.
And I think that's it. I think you get my point. My last comment, slightly off, different subject. Disappointed the Enterprise Advisory Committee hasn't been brought into the idea of negotiating for sewer capacity. I'd be very interested in understanding the financial plan
Okay,
for how you think that's gonna work, because there's been, a lot of discussion around the few on sewer paying for those not on sewer, right?
we'll talk about that some more and see what
That's
makes
fair.
sense.
Yeah.
Yep, that's fair.
Thank
Fair,
you.
Jim.
Thank you.
I just want to thank the board for listening tonight. Again, it gets heated, it doesn't need to be, but, this is a need, and then I just want to thank the board. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Scott. All right, if we're good for now, because again, this is not the last time we're going to talk about this. If we're good for now, we do have more of an agenda, so I was going to move on.
We're getting to the fun part, the
Okay.
bond anticipation note.
All right, thank you, Candace. All right, we are going to move on.
Yeah.
Okay,
Bond anticipation note.
everybody a
Come on,
minute.
guys, this is it.
should we take a 2-minute, do you want a 2-minute
I
recess?
don't think we have the noise we
You
had
don't need
last
it?
time.
Okay.
Last time, when a lot of people left, it got quite noisy.
Give me 30 seconds.
Yes.
But you're still live on cable.
That's okay.
I think it's 9:30. I want to go home. I
know.
got a presentation tomorrow. I'm in a board meeting tomorrow night.
You still have quite a bit on your agenda.
Yeah, we still have
Quite a bit. You gotta
Quite a
pick it
bit.
up.
That's okay, we can get through this. We got this.
All right.
Okay, so we have the, thank you. So we have approval of the bond anticipation note for the middle school, high school building project and well 3 for the PFAS project.
Thank you, Madam Chair. In your packet is a memo from the town treasurer collector requesting that the board approve a bond anticipation note. And just very quickly, this is for several projects, including the middle high school feasibility study, well 3 PFAS plant, and let's see. So with that, the renewal is for $6,748,985. And I'm requesting, on behalf of the treasurer, that the board adopt the vote prepared by Troutman Pepper Locke, bond counsel to the town in connection with the sale of the town's May 2026 bond anticipation notes.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you.
Okay, next we have the award a bid lease, can't even talk anymore, I'm sorry, for 410 Exchange Street, Oak Grove Farmhouse.
Madam Chair, I'm going to turn this over to Karen. She's done the majority of this work.
Beautiful.
And I give her the credit for pulling this through. It was a tedious, long process to get to this point, to go through the RFP process. And we're near the finish line, so hopefully we can get someone in our Oak Grove Farm rental unit by June.
Nice.
That'd be awesome.
So we are there. So this is a long process. We've been going back and forth for years on this process. When somebody vacates a property, such as the Oak Grove Farmhouse, which is an apartment, you have to go out to bid for the lease. It's called the disposition of real property. So that is what we did. So I'm an MCPPO as well as Mike. So we went out, we did a request for proposals for the disposition of real property via lease for the property at 410 Exchange Street. That is the Oak Grove Farmhouse, better known as. That was advertised on March 11th, 2026, in accordance with provisions in MGL Chapter 30B, Section 16. Proposals were solicited for a 3-year lease with 2 lease extension options at the town's sole discretion, and that's for the 2-story apartment. Proposals were due on April 13th at 2 p.m. We only received 1 proposal. And it was complete, and I'm sorry, I'm tired too, so I'm rambling. The lease agreement specifies that the tenant will be responsible for utilities and services related to occupancy of the unit. They are also responsible for the general upkeep and maintenance of the apartment and farmhouse, and maintenance of the surrounding grounds. So once the bid was received and it was reviewed, it was found to be complete, as I said, and deemed acceptable. So I am here recommending that the select board award the lease to William Toom, I believe is how you say his last name, Thum, based on his submitted proposal, which offers a lease price of $1,500 per month for the first year, with a 2.5% increase for each subsequent lease year and any exercise lease option years.
I love it. You ready?
Yeah, so moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded.
making
All
it
those in
easy.
favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries unanimously.
So when does he take?
Well, we still need to talk about that, but it could be as early as June
Could
1st.
be as early as June 1st. if
So
everything
right now, we are ordering some of the equipment that is needed. A lot of it will be on him, but the town does provide some equipment for him, for example, the backpack leaf blower and weed whacker and that type of thing, so that he can maintain the property.
Great. All right, next we have review and approval of intermunicipal agreement with Medway and Medfield for the sealer of weights and measures.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This, actually, it's a renewal of a 3-year agreement that we currently have with those 2 towns. The current agreement expires June 30th. We've found that over the past 3 years, this agreement's been very effective in providing this service to the community. It's really a niche technical job, and so the town of Medway has a person employed as part of the job that has all these certifications, so they do the sealer and weights and measures work and certifications for all 3 towns. And I'm recommending that the board approve and sign the 3-year intermunicipal agreement with Medway and Medfield for the services of a sealer of weights and measures as written in your packet.
So moved.
Second.
Sorry, I'm tired.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries unanimously. Okay, the next thing we have is to discuss and assign the annual town meeting warrant articles.
Awesome.
And
So,
there's actually 24. I said 23 earlier, but
oh,
gone back and
24.
forth on it so many times.
That's okay.
But it
So
is
Karen-
24.
Karen, are you gonna take notes and send them to us, or are we supposed to?
yeah.
Okay,
Can
good.
you?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So I just have a draft one in front
I
of me,
just
but-
gave you the copy, I included in your packet, who is speaking to it at FinCom.
Oh,
So that
okay.
whatever you choose, you can go back and forth
What's
if
your
you like.
statement? You gonna take them all?
No, if we're all comfortable, we've often just spoken on what was there, you know. If
I
there's
think
some-
that's fine.
Yeah, because if there's something you want to say.
What do you mean, Craig?
He's saying let's not
If you
assign
want
them.
to really talk about the ambulance revolving fund, say, Miss.
Oh, just when we get there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fine.
Yeah, yeah, because I think we're all fairly comfortable for most of them, you know?
I'm not.
Yeah, I'd prefer you to take the operating budget,
Me
like
too.
every single day of the year, but other than that, yes, that's fine.
But you could chime in with the addition of the police officer
Yes,
and the other stuff that
for
you
sure,
changed.
I
for
agree.
sure.
You
yeah.
take the high
agree.
points and I'll take the.
To be fair, we do speak in whatever we want
Yeah,
anyway.
Right.
We do.
True.
So we don't need to be
It's
assigned.
Yeah, you used-
It's not necessary.
No, it used to be, and obviously FinCom kind of, leads the charge
They
there,
do
but-
everything.
Well, they have to
Yeah.
make the motion.
Exactly, so they lead the charge.
Fine.
It was kind of, if there were big things to talk about, it was so you'd have a point person.
Good,
Who
let's
would be
skip
the
it.
lead, but you don't need it.
I think we're okay.
Try to make me not talk on it if I want to.
All right.
Right.
Do we have anything else you wanted to discuss about the articles, or are we good?
Nope, we're all set.
Okay.
And
All right.
I know at the town meeting, you know, we have
I do have
an
one.
internal kind of planning meeting on Thursday with the moderator, just to make sure we're all on the same page on everything. We are just going to be using the auditorium. We
Yep.
don't anticipate a huge crowd. We always want as many people as we can to come down, but there aren't as many, I believe, items of special interest on the warrant that'll draw an overflow crowd to the auditorium. So we just make sure that the setup is fine with the microphones and the tables and the tellers, and we will have, I think, the cafeteria across the hall available. You know, if people need to leave to make phone calls or stuff, there'll be an area they can go into and then come back in, you know, through the
Or
tellers.
if you get overwhelmed in a crowd
Or
and you
if-
just
or
need a
if- or if-
minute.
Or if
you
it
know?
gets a little claustrophobic in there for some. So we'll have that available. But everything appears to be fine. The warrants have been posted. And, you know, everything looks at this point should go smoothly. So I'll
Okay.
knock on wood on that one.
Yep, wonderful. Okay.
Good.
Good.
All right, next we have to vote to approve the use of town-owned parking area for outdoor seating, napper tandies, and cravings.
Yes, so last year, so they've changed the policy many times for the alcohol. Last year, you approved that Napper Tandies could use the outdoor parking lot that was out there to actually serve alcohol on. You don't have to reapprove that now. It's in perpetuity, I guess. What you do have to approve is the use of the actual parking lot. So that's a one-year agreement, and so you have to do this every year and allow them, if you choose to allow them, to have outdoor seating.
Simply
Does
because
that make
it's town
sense?
property.
Interesting, okay,
Just
yeah.
for- okay.
So it's just the portion of the town-owned parking lot that they've always used. They're not changing it, they're not changing the seatings, and it would be Craving and Napper Tandies again.
Okay,
Ready?
Well, since I've lost page 2, I'll make a motion.
hold on.
Here we go.
Okay,
I move that the board approve the use of the portion of town-owned parking lot area adjacent to Napper Tandies and Cravings for a one-year period effective May 1st.
Bless
As
you.
depicted
Bless
in the
you.
photo and drawing.
Second.
Not
it's been moved and
double-sided,
seconded.
though.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. All right, review and approval of one-day special alcohol licenses for Bogastow Fish and Game.
So that is, so you have the motion in the packet, there's not much to speak about, so this goes to the person, not to the organization. So Nate Maltinsky has applied on behalf, kind of the Bogastow Fish and Games Club. There are 4 different events that are going on that they are looking for one-day special all-alcohol licenses. I included in the motion that it would be with notification to the Millis Police Department, just in case they need any, just so they're in the loop, and in case they need any details for it. Other than that, it should be pretty self-explanatory if you want to read through them.
Yeah.
I'm just making notes on ones I want to.
They're
move
all
that the-
annual, except for the first one.
I move that the board approve the one-day special all-alcohol license application submitted by Nate Maltinsky to be held at the Bogastow Fish and Game Club located 24 Ridge Street as follows:
247.
247, where'd I get that? I was skipping ahead. 247 Ridge Street as follows: 5/16/26 Mass Motorcycle Safety Expo from 1 to 6. 5/30/26 5th Annual Pig Roast from 2 to 9. 8/16/26 Clam Bake from 12 to 6. 9/12/26 16th Annual Bogastow Music Festival Bogstock Music Festival from 12 to 9 p.m.
Second.
Oh, I'm sorry, with notification to the Mills Police for coordination of any details that may be necessary. Didn't see that.
Okay, all those in
Second.
favor?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. All right, next we had select board liaison updates. Anybody have anything? I have nothing.
You never have anything.
I know,
Erin.
well, I'm supposed to.
What?
I
I've
know.
got-
Take everything away from her?
No, there was no cemetery meeting,
No,
right?
I think there's supposed to be one tomorrow, but I have to see.
Has it been posted?
I don't know.
I can't make that tomorrow. I've got a board meeting at work. I got nothing either.
I
because they
went to
canceled
the,
mine.
well, good thing that one of us does something here.
Yeah.
I went to the Charles River Pollution Control meeting on the 9th and got the 72% number from them.
Beautiful.
So that was good.
Yes.
What else? Does DPW negotiations count?
No.
Nope.
No, take that off. Oh, energy. I
Energy?
went to energy.
Okay.
But nothing, but we didn't make an announcement. You should announce the Tree City.
Oh, yeah, we forgot about that.
Not for nothing, but
Oh,
the Energy Committee has been talking about the Tree City for months.
Well, we can-
And then Brutus
we should add
sneaks
that to
in
the
and
18th.
just gets it?
Yeah, I think Arbor Day was the
Did
22nd
he
or
even
23rd
tell
or
the
something.
Energy Commission that he was
That's Brutus.
doing that?
Well, we're a Tree City now for all of
We're a
those
tree
watching at
city.
home, and Brutus, our tree warden, posted about it on social media, and I'm sure we have a
You know
post
what? I don't-
somewhere.
Did we get the official announcement for that?
I don't think we've received the official announcement. I'm pretty sure we received it, but I was waiting to get the official announcement before. So hopefully for your meeting on May 18th, we can,
You signed the
we can
proclamation.
show the actual
Somebody should
Yeah,
certificate.
you
tell
signed-
Bob Weiss.
We will post about this as soon as possible.
Yeah, you signed the proclamation for Arbor Day, for last year's Arbor Day, but when is Arbor Day?
I don't,
was
I think
Monday,
it
wasn't it?
was like,
It was same as Earth Day
I don't know.
Might be, I don't
or
know.
different? Oh my
I have
gosh,
to
I'm
look it up.
sorry. Well, we will straighten this out.
We haven't
Okay.
gotten
We are very
formal
proud to be a tree
notification,
city.
but-
Good one, Ellen. Yeah,
I mean, I
the
just
tree
think
thing.
it's so funny because we've been talking about it, and I don't know if they know that
Everyone
Yeah.
should know, yeah.
Yes.
we got it.
We can do that as the municipal moment on the 18th.
Yes,
Yes.
that's a good one. All right, so the next thing we have is the review and approval of draft minutes from 4/9/26, the tri-board meeting, and 4/13/26.
I move the board approve the draft minutes from 4/9/26 tri-board meeting and 4/13/26 the select board meeting as written.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously.
I move that the board enter executive session to discuss strategy sessions in preparation for contract negotiations with union and non-union personnel, AFS CME Council 93, and Finance Director, and returns to open session for the sole purpose of adjournment.
Okay, I'll do a roll call vote. Do you want to second that
Second.
first? Okay, Ellen?
Yes.
Craig?
Yes.
And I'm a yes. So we are adjourned. Thank you, Millis Community Media. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Thank you for everybody that came out to participate tonight. Have a great evening, and I hope to see everybody at town meeting on Monday, May 4th,
And
7:30.
To vote.
And to vote on Monday, May 11th,
Yes.
Town Hall, between 7 and 8 p.m. Thank you.
7 a.m. and 8 p.m.
7 a.m. to 8 p.m. Thank you.